What is going on, everybody? It is episode 309 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I'm here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. I would say happy Ash Wednesday, but I guess it's not supposed to be a happy day. But anyway, we're still going to have a good time on the show. We've got a couple of guests today.
Cartman.
Cartman.
That was your name for it.
Yeah, it's perfect for today's show because we're going to be talking about South Park. We've got first the Bertman and Carter, and together they're Cartman.
Yes.
Get it?
You first. Introduce yourself, sir.
I'm Chris Bertman. I'm a writer for Timcast. I posted a poll today. If you guys would want to see me today on Pop Culture Crisis, and 15.9% of you said no. I want to know who you were.
I want names.
I want names. So vote better next time.
What is the poll?
Do better.
Do better.
In general.
The poll the other day said your mom's a hoe.
Oh, yeah.
If you voted no, your mom's a hoe.
If you vote no, your mom's a hoe.
Yeah.
Your mom's a hoe. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely. And to my left, sir, introduce yourself.
None of those names on the poll were me. So glad to see you're here. Thanks for having me back. My name is Carter Banks, and I am here on Pop Culture Crisis today, and excited. I just watched South Park to talk about it. So,
how's life in Musicland?
Dude, it's exhausting, but it's great.
You look cozy right now.
I feel cozy.
Guys, Carter has a 5-hour energy, a rock star energy, and a cold brew on the table next to him right now.
I don't see them.
He wasn't going to admit it, but I just outed him.
Yep. He's got it.
Insane behavior.
I thought I was bad. I had 2 cups of coffee and then, a ghost.
So you better be bringing the energy today.
Oh,
That's
I'll be
all I'm
bringing
saying.
it.
What is a ghost? What is a ghost?
It's an energy drink. They're really good.
Ghost drink. It gives you so much energy. It's kind of scary.
Mary would know.
It's a Mary energy. Is that like your brand, Mary?
Oh, yeah. There you go.
We're sponsored.
Yeah.
It's our first brand deal.
That's a fantastic idea.
They're really good.
We got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. We're going to talk about Harry and Meghan, whiny Harry and Meghan, complaining that their call for privacy that they've done publicly for the last 6 months is being made fun of by Trey Parker and Matt Stone. And threats of a lawsuit have been whispered about by Royal Insiders, which I would love to get a Royal Insiders shirt. Like maybe a band called the Royal Insiders would be dope. We're going to talk about Madison Beer and the endless swattings. If anybody knows about swattings here, we know. So
have we talked about Madison Beer before?
We have not.
At all?
We have not.
Okay.
It's she's one of those people where I forgot.
She's around.
I forgot she's a musician.
Yeah.
I just thought she's just a hot girl on internet.
Exactly.
That's her role in life. And that's fine. Know. It's a free country. You can be that. We're going to talk about the very litigious J.K. Rowling. Well, she's not litigious here, but I think a threat of further legal action is what prompted the BBC from very quickly offering her 2 apologies within a month over claims of transphobia on various BBC-related broadcasts. So we will discuss that. And we were going to talk about the absolutely insane James Cameron, who finds Thanos' plan from Avengers Infinity War to be quite a good one. And if that sounds insane to you, that's because it is. But is it insanity? Is it just a old man, wrinkly-skinned edgelord behavior to sell his movie tickets? We'll discuss it. So we got all that to get into today. I think first, though, I got a couple of things that I wanted to show. I saw this earlier. Tom Hardy says that Venom 3 is in pre-production. My only hope is that it does not have Naomi Harris in it. She was not very good in the last one. But that has been announced here. Tom Hardy's a bankable dude. Hopefully that ends up making them some money. I do enjoy seeing stuff that's Marvel but not Marvel. And
What do you mean Marvel but not Marvel? Do you mean not MCU? It's
owned by Sony, so it's not an MCU. It's not an MCU film, which means it's at least. I mean, it's still a formulaic superhero movie. There's still formulaic superhero movies, but they don't have the same level of that comes about with the Marvel movies.
If Marvel,
thank you,
wants these Sony licensed characters back to put them in the MCU, what should they even do? Is there just a time limit?
No, I mean, they bought them back in the day when Marvel was in dire straits, so they keep the rights to them. That's why they have to release a Spider-Man movie every so many years, because it allows them to keep the rights to it. But they'll never, I mean, maybe one day they'll never let go of Spider-Man. Spider-Man is too bankable. He makes them too much money. And I don't think they'll get rid of Venom, because they're using Venom to kind of build out their Sonyverse of films. We've got Kraven the Hunter coming this year as well. So we'll see where that goes. But beyond that, a Marvel Studios producer has said that Iron Man actor Robert Downey Jr. is no longer being considered for future cameos. There was a report recently, as early as or as recent as a couple days ago, where there was rumors that he would be featured in a couple of production, or he might be featured in a production, possibly the Marvels. Not going to happen. And given the way he looked at Jon Favreau's walk of what do they call it? The Hollywood Walk of Fame ceremony. He just doesn't look well these days, and he doesn't have that Tony Stark hair anymore. Like, look at his hair. That's not Tony Stark hair.
That's him.
He's completely just like sapped of all life signs.
Veganism did this.
Not
to him.
just veganism, but like militant veganism.
Yeah. He was also doing the thing
full
where
of soy milk.
you mentioned the other day, you were like, somebody's kid at the BAFTAs wearing a suit with sneakers. Like, he was at
some random person's kid, and not many people at the BAFTAs probably have kids. He's just hanging out.
So, but John, when Robert Downey Jr. was at Jon Favreau's Walk of, I always want to say Walk of Shame. It's Walk of Fame. He was wearing a suit with sneakers too. So
I don't like the trends of like business casual these days.
Really?
Especially like
you think either business
men's sports coats and chinos and like wearing the white bottom sneakers and a t-shirt under the blazer.
I mean, that's a timeless look.
It's anything but a timeless look. That's a very new look.
Oh, you said wife beater. I was V-neck underneath the.
Like any like t-shirt under the blazer.
That's been going. People have done that for ages.
That's really weirdly, awkwardly tight pants to match.
That's not new. I mean, that's not new looks. V-neck underneath the.
Oh, and
blazer.
with like pleather sneaker. No, pleather like slip-ons with a white sole. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Like the moccasin type slip-ons.
I don't know how to explain it. I need like a picture.
Driving shoes.
Those are comfortable.
Yeah,
I'm sure they are. Yeah,
but remember,
but
never
dressing nicely should be uncomfortable. That's what I think.
I think that's a woman take. I think women have to suffer for fashion, men do not. High heels.
Ordinarily, everyone was uncomfortable.
Women suffer for fashion nowadays. That's not even true.
There's supposed to be some modesty there too, which is why they used to wear loose-fitting suits. You're not supposed to look good.
Oh,
what?
Really?
Yeah. I'm gonna need Jamie. I'm gonna need you to pull that up. Like that.
I don't know if this is true, but I heard that George Washington was wearing an all denim suit to get inaugurated.
I actually don't know that much, but could be.
It's very American.
They had denim back then?
Did they?
I think so. Yeah.
So beyond that, guys, if you guys remember the other day, we didn't talk about it, but a lot of people were discussing this. They are censoring Roald Dahl books. With they, them pronouns and inclusive language. Well, very predictably, online resellers have now started making a killing off of the reselling of his completed works, right? Which makes perfect sense. Like anytime, do you remember when Dr. Seuss got the rewrites, or when they went in on Dr. Seuss?
That was a while ago, right?
Like 2 years ago.
It was like 2 years, because I was still at my other job when that happened.
Likewise.
So. That was, and then of course you go look on eBay and all of a sudden it's like the prices skyrocketed, free market economy and all that. I went online the other day because I wanted to buy the socialist Monopoly. Oh, yeah. The joke socialist Monopoly game. They're like $100.
Are they really?
Like, you can't find them from a retailer. You can only get them from other people who are selling them. They're all over $90.
Did they discontinue it?
I'm guessing. So. Imagine that. Socialist Monopoly doesn't do that well.
Oh, no.
The people that should be really offended by the abridged versions should be cashiers, secretaries, fat people, ugly people.
Why?
Oh, yeah.
Because they're just wanting to change all of these lines so that everyone is a neutral blob with no defining characteristics, good or bad. Yeah. They took out the word pretty and ugly. Really? They took out the word fat to describe a mouse. They changed a line that said, even if she's working as a cashier at the supermarket or typing letters for a businessman from the Witches, and they made it, even if she's working as a top scientist or running a business.
Wait, so what was the first one? Even if she's working as a what?
Working as a cashier in a supermarket or typing letters for a businessman, like a secretary.
But they changed it so that she's now a
this
girl
is
boss?
like, this is putting down any woman who is a cashier or
Yeah.
a secretary. It's putting down anyone who has defining characteristics of any kind,
Right.
good or bad, because we should all just become amorphous, non-binary socks.
Yeah.
Like,
And eventually the jobs they're
What's the
describing
result?
will be shipped off to India or automated anyways.
like
so,
they took out references to females being pretty.
Yep, can't do that anymore. No, I was watching a thing the other day. They were talking about Nebula. There was a poster of Nebula on the new Guardians of the Galaxy
I saw
poster,
this.
and there was this great piece that I read where he said, why is it so true that Hollywood has not just gotten rid of female beauty, but gleefully gotten rid of female beauty? They love it.
Mm-hmm.
They love. Well, and even it doesn't extend to the actresses. That's the part that annoys me the most. They portray these characters that way in movies, but when they go to these red carpet premieres, they're dressed to the
It's
nines.
like Evangeline Lilly.
Yeah, like.
I think they really did her dirty in Ant-Man Quantumania.
But when they go to these premieres, they're dressed to the nines.
Right, exactly.
It's the image they want to project to you. The one that they want you to copy is not the one they follow.
They probably were like,
They love
Michelle
it.
Pfeiffer, I know you're going to be changing your look, but you've got to get the short coif haircut to be in this movie, and she refused. So she's one of the bigger names on the movie,
Yeah.
meaning she gets a greater say. And Evangeline Lilly had to cut her hair instead.
Like, is this happening in?
It's weird.
When
It's
I-
a
when-
defeminization thing, which is actually like, I think like a sexual kink.
Yeah.
And they're like forcing it, inflicting it on the rest of society.
But it doesn't extend to everything. Like, look, reality TV actresses and stars still look the same as they did 20 years ago, for the most part. Like, you look at the Real Housewives, which, when one of the side effects of doing what we do for work is you have to read articles or look at stuff about the Real Housewives. It's all kind of, they look the same as they did 20 years ago. It feels like it's just mainstream Hollywood that is just determined to get rid of beauty from women. The men are still handsome.
Well, for the most part, I think they're trying to chip away at.
I mean, they
male
feminize certain
standards as
singers
well.
and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
and I guess you could make the argument that the action stars of today aren't exactly the action stars of old.
because they're writing they're like in fleets writing articles about how like Wolverine shouldn't be seen as a male body standard because he was too ripped. It wasn't natural. So
Got him.
Nice.
like this image shouldn't be normalized to men
Yeah.
as like something that they should see as like an idealized version of themselves.
But men don't care because men actually want to achieve it.
I mean, not all men.
Yeah, but they don't
but
care. But they're not
The ones who
offended.
complain are the loudest.
Do you guys see that? Do you see men complaining about men? Like, I don't see any men complaining about
You
unrealistic
can
body
find someone
standards.
complaining about something on Twitter anywhere.
Way
Those
more
aren't real
women
people.
complaining about unrealistic body standards than men.
Yeah.
But then again, that could just be because women use social media more.
Also, women's looks are more important
In Hollywood, you think so? In Hollywood,
in life.
In general, yeah.
In
Yeah.
general, you think that women's like
So it's a more important target
yeah.
to disintegrate like female beauty standards. It's more important for them to eliminate that first, I think.
In the chat,
And eliminate like male dignity, I guess, on the side.
Well, like that's why you get The Rock, and or that's why you get John Cena being put in a skirt, and they have to. They have
You
to
see
shit.
Robert Downey
What is
Jr. being an emaciated,
I mean, that might just be his own decision.
paper-skinned vegan.
But putting them in dresses. There was a clip the other day of the guy who played Debo from Friday talking about how he wouldn't allow them to put him in a dress because of.
Well, good for
But
him.
based on religious grounds, like he was
yeah,
talking
that's
about. Yeah,
perfectly
like,
valid. That you
and-
can actually back that up with biblical
you know?
evidence.
Yeah, and he was talking about, and like it was like Debo's based.
Yeah. Well, and then we see John Cena's like Chinese spy ass dressed up in a pleated schoolgirl skirt
I'm
and
just
high
confused.
heels and lipstick, walking around with the paparazzi.
What's the purpose of that?
He's doing it for a role in a
But
movie. I don't
why?
know what the movie is gonna be yet, but I guess that they just thought it was really important to put a buff and traditionally masculine looking guy in degrading clothing and makeup
They're also
Wow.
like
To
Hollywood is full of
ritualistically humiliate him.
Right. No.
Hollywood is full of writers and directors who are kind of beta as hell and probably love to like bring them down to their level.
Right. That's
in
where
a
their
way.
power comes in.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm writing the dress code for this role, and you're going to look like this
Yeah.
in a dress.
Yep. All right. So we've also got cringe of the day. I'm hoping it doesn't get us copyrighted with this clip. If you want to know how a weird form of propaganda works, guys, this clip is so weird. Okay, so
I found this yesterday.
it literally gave me secondhand embarrassment, and it proves to you that how mentally ill a lot of people actually are. So this is a clip called "He's a Gentleman," hashtag Johnny Depp, and this is apparently whoever made this. These are instances of him being chivalrous
Towards
Camille Vasquez
Yeah.
while in court. And my favorite part, it's not even the how propagandistic it is, but it's these moments and this emoji, which should be saved for like kittens and babies being saved from near death. This emoji does not belong
the one
on
with
this.
the teary eyes.
Yes, this
yeah.
this emoji does not belong on this. But here, let's
Yeah, no.
watch.
You tell me you leave,
Oh, he moved her cord. What? He moved her chair.
it'll be okay.
That's it.
Like it's
That-
so
that's
unnecessarily sappy.
That's it. That is shit.
just play this again. He's literally moving her phone charger
You tell
cord.
me
I wish I could mute it. I don't think you can mute. Oh, here it is.
Well, it's only like 4
Yeah.
seconds. I don't think it'll.
So he moves her.
Well, that wasn't even. There's no point of
Like
that.
what is that? Like
He's just
helpful?
OCD.
He's just
He's
OCD,
really
and like
OCD.
moving her phone charger so
and
it
then-
doesn't loop.
And then he pulls her chair out, I guess. See, like I said, it's way funnier if she tries to sit down and he pulls it out from her and she falls and he just
Or like he
he's just
unplugs her phone from the charger.
He's just super
at
frat
random.
boy. Like I love.
We
the
were
idea.
joking about this earlier. Brett was saying like, what if he puts Crystal Light in her water bottle and people think that it's like roofie?
like I want to do it. There should be a whole skit of like Johnny Depp being misconstrued as being mean when he's actually being really nice. Like
There's like a fly next
yeah,
to her and he
slaps
punches the
it,
wall.
and he just he keeps getting caught in the act, not actually being mean, but it looks mean on camera.
All of these comments, by the way, are just so over the top.
The comments
they're
are
like,
worse.
not only is he a good actor, but he's an amazing person.
Oh, yeah.
He's a real gentleman who respects women.
Johnny Depp
a
is a-
prime example of don't judge a book by its cover. He has such a big heart. These gestures, even when he's fighting for his life and his career, he's still such a gentleman and so humble. God love him.
And look, you can whatever you think of Johnny Depp in creepy Amber Heard, that's not the point here. The point is the weird
This one is
celebrity
crazy.
worship.
He treated her with such
Right.
care and respect. Amber Heard had one of the most gentle men on planet Earth. She was stupid enough to destroy their marriage. Thank God she didn't destroy Johnny.
Seriously.
He's a gem. Like, I don't have anything against Johnny Depp, obviously, but this is cringy.
Yes.
Picture anyone else doing those things. I mean, it's only chivalrous because it's Johnny Depp.
I guess, yeah. I mean, people really shipped them hard, though, during
Right.
the trial.
Andy Leifer says she's describing Miami Vice wardrobe. Yes, what you were describing earlier is totally. Have you ever seen
Wait, what?
the show Miami
What was
Vice?
I describing,
Like
though?
the casual,
Super tight
Oh.
pants
yeah.
and the
Like now all you need is to roll up your sleeves and do this from the cocaine. Like that's it's Miami Vice. It's great.
Well, that's what politicians do as well. They
Yeah.
like roll up the sleeves to seem more down to earth and
Or-
American.
And there is I will say it is weird when they have like the suit jacket rolled up with like the sleeves over it. Like
That
the,
just looks uncomfortable.
Yeah.
it looks like your arms don't actually bend up because there's just so much damn fabric underneath that you can't bend your
In a
arms.
monkey suit.
Yes. All right, guys, we're gonna get started. So. Meghan Markle is very upset because Trey Parker and Matt Stone have dared to call into question the validity of just how much privacy they might actually want when they go on a worldwide We Want Privacy tour.
Is that the episode title is like Worldwide Privacy Tour.
Yeah.
Give us a-
I wish we could show the clips.
I know,
react to them, but yeah, it just shows like Harry and Meghan unnamed, the prince and princess
Canada.
from Canada,
Yeah.
have moved in across the street from Kyle in South Park, and They are like throwing things in his window, like setting off fireworks.
Playing a drum set in the
Harry's
front yard.
playing polo in the front yard.
And Kyle's just
They're
put upon as he's trying to be
protesting.
learn how to be a social media
Oh, yeah.
influencer.
Yeah.
It's hilarious to me because when I think of this stuff, I think of like I have a couple of friends who are like kind of the same way, like good people, but we're like very very like thought of themselves as quiet, but we're like the most public people. Like, you know, it's like there are people even now where it's like they're like, I don't want to talk about this publicly, as they're talking about it
Right.
publicly. Like that's a thing, right?
I usually
like,
say stuff like this, followed by a long Facebook post.
yes, and if somebody says that more than once a year, they don't actually want to be not public, right?
Yeah.
Forever.
I mean, South Park has kind of gotten tamer over
Oh,
the
yeah.
years. You got to admit that at
Oh,
least. I
definitely.
saw a clip from an episode they did like a long time ago, almost like 20 years ago, I think.
Which one?
That was about a trans person, a biological
at
male
the-
going to a Planned Parenthood clinic for an abortion.
Oh,
And the doctor, you know, breaks the news to him that he actually does not have a womb.
Right.
Therefore, he can't get pregnant
Just the dolphin
and cannot
plasty
get
one?
an abortion. And like, I thought because of like it being a relevant issue today that it was new, and I was shocked, but then I actually found out that they made that in like the mid 2000s.
Yeah, a long time ago.
so
2005,
ahead of
I
the
think.
time.
But they've kind of like toned down how far they're willing to go with their humor over the years, and that's sad. But
A little bit.
I mean, this still kind of reflects where people are at right now. Like, I think we're just fed up and fatigued with the fake, you know, celebrity worship and the victim narrative that Meghan Markle is spinning.
It says the Duchess is reportedly upset and overwhelmed by the episode and annoyed by South Park, who refuses to watch it at all.
No, she
but
is refusing to watch it.
But refuses to watch it all. There was also a really funny thing where they said like William is like laughing about it.
Well, this is an insider that they kept anonymous who said William doesn't watch South Park, but I reckon one of his friends will have seen it on social media and sent the clip to him. And I think he probably has seen it and will have had a wry smile on his face while watching. And that's because like they've had a personal dispute for a long time now, ever since like 2021 when they, you know, renounced their royal titles.
Well, I mean, they're going to
and
get
moved to Southern California to make a name for themselves.
They're about to get a swift understanding of the First Amendment here, because I don't know if there's anything here to sue for.
Well, Meghan
yeah.
Markle should know that,
Yes.
given that she's American. But this is going to be a new lesson for Harry, I guess. It's sad because like satire and dry humor is supposed to be something uniquely like British, like having British
Right.
roots. And they don't seem to understand that.
Well, that
and
means
then
that
also,
she's the one who's angry, not maybe he's not angry, but she is.
Well, he either is like upset or feigning upset, and you know, tending to her emotional needs
To make sure
while
that
she
she
has a
doesn't get-
tantrum,
So that she
in
doesn't get
their
mad at him for
mansion.
not being mad also.
Exactly. Yeah. So
How dare you not be mad on my behalf?
he has to like mirror her upset, if not exceed it.
Yeah.
I'm so angry for you. I'm so angry. They really disrespected you.
It's a
They're
survival
such
tactic.
misogynists.
Here's a meme that the face you make when you experience a taste of America's freedom of speech. I was actually looking into like I was gonna see if Jessica would make a Photoshop of like the cartoon top of their heads and or like maybe the real top of their heads with the cartoon bottom of the face. There was also this one. I like this one as well.
Accurate though.
Very, very accurate.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
Not enough to sue, though.
But now they're saying the legal team is casting an eye over the episode to see what's wrong and what could be turned into something more sinister.
What does that mean?
This appears to be their course of action rather than laughing it off, enjoying the moment and showing the world that they can get the joke.
Means they're going through with a fine-tooth comb looking for anything and everything to sue them for, but they're not going to be able to.
This
I
is a
feel
big
like British
problem.
people just don't understand even the concept of free expression.
Right.
And it's like baffling to them.
Which is ironic because they had like more inappropriate jokes and commercials than we did for the longest time.
Yeah.
Like they still do.
I think when it comes to like censoring media outlets in the UK, they've seen more success because they literally have no freedom of speech over there. but maybe they'll learn the hard way that you can't silence people just for making fun of your ridiculous behavior. But it's literally like just pointing out, maybe you have legitimate problems, but they aren't problems that the public can relate to, so why are you shoving them in our faces? That's the real thing. Like, if you feel like you lack privacy because
There we go.
the paparazzi are trying to get pictures of you and you're constantly getting, lies spread about you, etc. Maybe that's a legitimate problem, but it's not one that like your audience made up of ordinary people has ever experienced or will ever experience. Therefore, we don't feel bad for you. Like, we can't empathize with a problem like that. And on top of that, you're stoking those reactions because, first of all, Harry's book deal is a multi-year, multi-part book deal. So he's going to be writing more than just his memoir, Spare, or Wah. He's going to be writing more than that. And their deal with Netflix is also a multi-year, multi-production deal. So they're about to like make rom-coms. They're about to make all sorts of like sitcoms, I think they said too, like comedy content, which they're completely incapable of making understanding.
What would Meghan Markle comedy content look like?
Or romantic content, because they're both like loveless and humorless people.
It's not funny. That's
what could it be? Hey, maybe what if they do a green line test like sitcom that's all about judging people, or like some type of show that judges like a reality show that goes through and judges celebrities' green line tests?
I feel like they have a PR team that is giving them advice and they're just ignoring the advice.
Think so?
Like, the PR team would be like, this is your perfect chance.
Right.
Like,
go and say that you thought the episode was funny.
Lean into it, right.
And lean into it.
Yeah.
And then people will start to have more favor for you.
Just thinking that.
But they're such narcissists. I mean, really, Meghan Markle is the narcissist and Harry is her pet.
she's never had anybody punch up at her.
Yeah. It seems like it. I mean, I think it's clear that from her like previous career, just like being a blue collar actress, that's what she wants to continue being. And she's brought Harry along for the ride, and because he's such a beta cuck, he's willing to go along with whatever she says.
He must be the most whipped dude ever.
You can see the look in his eyes is just empty. Like, there's nothing left. He has no soul left in there. You could just like knock on his skull and hear an echo.
To be a fly on the wall in their bedroom or just apartment would be like, wonder if she Johnny Depps him.
Do you think she goes
Johnny
to bed?
Depp's
Do you think she goes to bed and like he's like, okay, and she's like, we're going to bed?
The thing is, she's
she
not
makes
even,
them go to bed at the same time.
She's not even comparable to Amber Heard in terms of looks
Right.
or even like volatility. She just has like this quiet like sternness about her where even like she could just command Harry with a look.
Yeah.
Like, at least with Amber Heard, you have the evidence. Like, you have the clips of her yelling at him. You have her admitting to physical violence. I wouldn't even pin that on Meghan Markle. I think she's just an emotionally tyrannical C-word.
Very possible.
Basically. Like, it's clear to see. It more than just body language. But yeah, like I'm hoping that they actually go forward with an attempt at a lawsuit, because it's going to be embarrassing for them.
The crisis meter is acting up today, so we are having trouble with the crisis meter today.
It does look to be glitching out.
Yeah.
I saw a chat pop up and the guns didn't go off.
No, a couple of times, guys. So.
Someone said she makes him sit down to pee.
Oh
Yeah, that's the perfect metaphor for that.
Yeah, she makes Harry sit down to pee, but she doesn't take a dump on his bed. There's the difference between Meghan Markle and Amber Heard.
Fellas, know your worth. Don't put up with that.
I mean, maybe it's like, it's up to your value judgment. If you think that you want to like date Amber Heard because she's hot enough to make up for her emotional problems, like her anger management issues, that's your decision. Like, more power to you. But with Meghan Markle, I just don't see a trade-off. Because he had to renounce his whole family name.
Some kind of like...
And his country.
Yeah, I don't know. There's got to be something.
She must be
in
fantastic
exchange for
in bed.
what?
That's the only thing.
I don't even...
That's it.
She must be absolutely a panther
no way.
in the sack.
There's no way, because like I don't even know if Harry cares about that anymore. If he just has like
he's asexual now.
he's like become like an asexual, just like a blob.
That's possible.
He can just like mold into any shape that she wants him to be.
Harry can confirm that Meghan is fantastic in bed with her boyfriend.
We're gonna reach out to him for
Exactly.
comment and see if we're correct on that.
It's really weird. Like the money guns are not working today. Like who is like, this is sabotage. Big tech.
Is this one plugged in?
No, it's not that one.
Okay.
Big tech is censoring us, guys.
Or
We are being held down by the
Tech in
man
general. Well,
right
one
now.
worked.
We are being held down by the man right now. And actually, you know what it is? I think it's a plot, because they know that the new outro screen is supposed to be us cleaning up the money.
Oh.
So they've
No.
actually done this.
I think this is actually Harry and Meghan's fault.
saw it coming.
That's completely possible. Like, it's letting me do it manually.
But
it's
No, it's MI6.
oh, he sent the British government after us.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Where's James Bond? I bet you this is James Bond's fault. It's completely possible.
Wait, is MI6 like the CIA or something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's there. And MI5 is like their FBI, right? Or something like that. Yeah.
I wonder if they have like feds that try to incriminate you in the UK.
like their very own crisis
People like
actors.
me.
The Royal
Okay.
Canadian Mountain Police.
Oh,
That would be Canada.
because they're
I mean, that's what
actually
we're talking about,
Canadian.
Guys, for every super chat now, I'm going to have to multitask today and set it off manually. But the crisis meter,
Well, that's weird. I saw only one super chat go through.
Yeah,
on
the
back
first one went
end,
through.
but then the rest are only on the.
I am going to keep my
Page.
eye on the number, and I'm going to do this manually today. So we're gonna have to do this manually. So all super chats will still set off the crisis meter. It will just be set off manually.
and we're not great at math here, so
I
this
can
is
read
gonna
the
be
number. I
difficult.
can read the number. I got the number here. So
right.
I'll let us know as we go. But I have no idea why it's doing that. I think Harry and megalomania. Yeah.
Yeah.
Meghan is meddling.
She's out to get us today, and the Brits are taking down our stream because they know that we're speaking truth to power right now. And frankly, I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted by the behavior.
Okay, is Gary Thomas first?
Let's.
Should we just go to super chats now?
I'm trying to see if maybe I can like sign out and sign back in, but I'm
Well,
not
it's a
gonna-
problem I'm seeing as well, so it doesn't seem like it's a you problem. It's just a.
Sounds like a you problem. All right, yeah. Let's start. Go ahead. Right where what you saw.
Okay, the first one I saw was $1.
Oh yeah. So this is going to be a problem because we're gonna have to be able to read it on screen too, and we don't have the spreadsheet, right? So
Well, the one that did pop up
potatoes
was...
for Seamus is number one.
Really?
Yes. It says when Bertman is on, nobody else matters on PCC except Carter and Brett, maybe even Mary, but never that. I'm not reading that word. Whenever he be JK, LOL, bring back Wesley. Thoughts?
Wesley is a very busy man.
He's a very busy man.
yeah,
I know what
can attest to
potatoes for
that.
Seamus sounds like.
Does he sound like that?
He sounds like Wesley.
Does he sound like Wesley?
I actually thought, is
Really?
Wesley potatoes for Seamus?
He could be.
Oh.
He could
secretly.
be. He sounds like Wesley, but with a slight southern drawl.
Yeah.
Very slight.
Okay. I'm not able to see any of the
Okay.
chats right now.
So Big Dave says, happy birthday to Big Dave's beautiful wife. Happy birthday, Brenda. So happy birthday, Brenda.
that's cute.
Happy birthday.
Happy
All right.
birthday.
Megan Leigh Deigel says, I love that they didn't make South Park version of Harry and Meghan when they made fun of them. It's like an extra burn to the fame seekers. All right. I'm like literally now we just got one from Caper 2X. Now I have to set it off manually. Setting it off manually. There we go. It's going to be a hectic show today.
Should we contact Christopher?
I
like me
already
to
I already messaged
Do
him. so-
something to help out, Mary.
Uh,
Send you like a screenshot of the.
Well,
No, I don't-
you can, sure. If you're able to see the.
Well,
I mean, I
can,
can
can
see
you
what's-
can you see them on this screen over there? It's just too small.
Too small.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll keep going. So T-Bone says, "Welcome back, Carter. You inspired me to get back into the gym and to start lifting weights. Thanks, man, for
Hell yeah,
being
dude.
awesome."
Just wake up and do it, and even if you just ride the bike for, 25 minutes while you're on your phone,
Okay,
The
I
best
think I can
workout you
see
can do
them now.
the one you will do.
Okay.
I just was able to like pop out the chat.
Okay.
The beanbag actual one is next, right?
let me see. Yes.
Okay, he said, it's Wednesday, my dudes. Power got knocked out at the shop, so no work tonight. Guess I'll just play the Wizard game or Dead Space.
Well, the Wizard game is still controversial.
Thoughts on the Wizard game
What is
so
the
far?
Wizard game?
My
Oh.
PlayStation broke, so I haven't been able
Oh,
to
What?
damn.
I know.
You're not
I
going
know.
to play it on PC?
Dude,
No, I don't have PC.
the LGBTQIA plus lobby just probably sabotaged it.
Son of a
from,
bitch.
from
Oh, sorry.
playing. that it happens.
Dude, that makes so much sense. It was the disk drive.
Yep.
Pisses me off.
All right.
Gary Thomas said, are Meghan and Harry going to sue the BBC next for making The Windsors, which is a show all about satirizing the royal family? Satirizing the royals is an old British tradition.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it should be relevant that they should always be willing to be to be made fun of. Otherwise,
thing is,
you,
like-
you risk losing the populace.
The satire was an old British tradition because there used to be like unspoken limits that everyone just kind of agreed upon.
Right.
What was going too far because we weren't like plagued by mental illness for all of that time, but now there's this like hypersensitivity culture that's taken over, and also like globalized entertainment where Americans are projecting their ideas onto like what a like British culture should
Right.
be and stand for, and they just don't understand. I personally don't understand the appeal of the royal family as a whole, like as like an obsession and like a hobby to keep up with them. I don't get their appeal. I think they're just lame and boring.
I think they've just been around for so long. People just think they have to be appealed to them.
Well, they're like the celebrities of the UK, basically.
Everything
Seems
I've
like.
seen of them or heard of them has been forced on me. I've never once gone out of my way to look them up.
Right.
I
So
don't
imagine
care.
what it
Yeah.
would
All
be
against
like
our will.
in the UK.
Yeah.
Everything I've learned about Meghan Markle has been against my will.
Against my will.
Yeah. Paper2X said, save us, Mary. You are our only hope. Make mine Marvel. What does that mean?
Is that a Star
What's
Wars
wrong?
reference?
Sounds like something familiar, but I don't know what it is.
Beanbag Actual said, Big Avocado strikes again. They're anti-money gun.
Yeah, that's what it is. All right, now that we're caught up, let's.
Okay.
This is gonna be hard to do. Today's gonna be a rough one. That's
Whatever.
all right. We're gonna go with it as we go. All right, so we're moving on, ladies and gentlemen. Madison Beer she's how would you describe her? Hot woman on the internet. She's a musician.
Yeah, she's a hot woman on the internet, but I would say she's like legitimately talented as
Okay.
a singer.
All right.
She's got real talent. She's not just like skating by on
Okay.
being attractive. I'll give her credit where credit is due for sure. But now she is getting swatted on a routine basis. Who here has heard of that?
I have no
What's that
idea.
mean?
When has that ever happened
Crazy.
before?
Swatting?
That sounds crazy to experience, and I would never want to experience that. It sounds like she has gotten more than 15 calls on her house to the LAPD since the beginning of this year. Someone from Germany claiming that she is contemplating suicide and self-harm, which they are then obligated to go and do a physical check on.
Yeah, they have to.
And it's a male caller, probably a stalker, who's
Right.
like weirdly obsessed with her or maybe wants to kill her. I feel like swatting is oftentimes like equivalent to an attempted murder, honestly, because
Oh yeah,
it is.
no, it absolutely is. That's the intention.
I mean, especially if you're calling it in not even on a suicide threat, but
Right.
something worse than that, then you're literally endangering the person's life because the cops have to deal with them as if they are a threat.
Yeah, whether you intended on it or not,
Yeah.
same thing's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So far, Madison Beer hasn't actually spoken on this, which is interesting. She's probably been advised not
But
to.
this is a natural like problem for the people famous in the internet age now. Like you just have to deal.
Remember
with the
Aiden
stuff.
Ross
Yeah,
doing
absolutely.
the stream where he's like supposedly getting swatted? I feel like that was faked because he publicized it. Publicizing it and streaming yourself literally like with your hands up in your living room
Yeah.
is going to encourage more of your haters or whoever, like stalkers, just to do more swatting calls.
Yeah.
Because they want to see your reaction or your fear and like make it into a meme.
And do you think the distance, like just the distance that the internet creates between people kind of desensitizes them from just how dangerous this type of behavior actually is?
Yes.
It's kind of the
Absolutely.
same notion as like you don't realize that you're playing with somebody else's life until you until something like this actually happens to you in person.
Yeah, well, so like I've gone back and forth with people on Twitter and like they were getting like mad at me, and then they reached out in a DM, and I found out they were like 16, and I was just like, I had no idea, and I kind of
Could
felt
be literally
bad.
like anyone, like a kid that you're going back and forth with on Twitter or whatever. Yeah.
So
that sucks. One person in chat asked, "Do you mean the guy that kept yelling bro?" Yes, that is Aiden Ross. That's the guy who kept yelling bro during his stream where he was like supposedly getting swatted. I don't know if that was real or fake, but the way he was acting suggested that it was staged for more people to tune in and donate, basically, out of pity or whatever, which is kind of messed up because he's almost encouraging people to do it for real then. Right. And then actually he's risking his life for clout, which is kind of pathetic. But the Madison Beer thing, I have one theory on how it could be fake, actually.
Okay.
She announced that she is publishing a memoir on February 15th. And it's going to be all about like her journey as like a child star, having like grown up in the spotlight. I think she was actually scouted originally by Justin Bieber, which is funny that there's like this train of scouting, like Scooter Braun scouts Justin Bieber, who scouts Madison Beer, who then scouts somebody else. But anyway, it's going to be called The Half of It. It's coming out in the spring, and she's doing press about it right now. And I'm sure she's working on music as well. And it just seems awfully convenient timing that something like this would happen, where people are going to be talking about your names in the headlines.
All these things always seem to happen right around the time something is about to come out.
Yeah, and maybe I sound cynical for saying that. And if this is honestly what's happening to her, I feel bad, and I hope that she's safe. But I can't help but be skeptical anytime something involving an influencer happens now, because like, people will do anything for clout now. They will like degrade themselves, risk their life, risk their family members' lives, sacrifice their dignity for attention.
And all the world is a stage, and it's naive not to think that they're not going to use every tool available, and no matter how manipulative that may be, and that includes, blurring the lines between what is real and what is fake.
I mean, who knows? Maybe she's like adding an abridged addition to her memoir that's like, here's an update on my life being in the spotlight. I've been swatted this many times since the beginning of 2023, and here are my reflections on that. Like, there are so many ways to capitalize off of it, even if it is real.
It's not cynical, I don't think, to at least ask questions.
Sure.
Like, to approach it with an open mind.
Yeah, like I feel like other influencers have lied about worse things. I just saw this story actually where this TikTok dad made this video that was supposed to have like a wholesome energy to it, but it massively failed and like didn't land. He like tricked a theme park into thinking that his son met the minimum height requirement for roller coasters. And his son is like really young and really small, and that's extremely dangerous and life-threatening. And he like made this video about it, like he was doing his son some kind of favor for his birthday or whatever. And the kid is like definitely not safe, and he could fly out of a roller coaster at his size and die instantly. But he did it for TikTok clout. When things like, and then now in like the 10 days since he posted that video, he's like gone through this dad has gone through every stage of like grief. He has first, he like denied that it ever happened. He was I was just making that video for attention. We never actually put him on a roller coaster, guys. LOL. How can you be so stupid and gullible to believe that? Then he admits that they did it, but says that no. Then he like says, he like blamed it on somebody else. Then he said like that he was genuinely sorry, and he made like a tearful apology to Sad Music on TikTok. Then he retracts his apology and then says that they did put him on a roller coaster, but also there's nothing wrong with that, and you're sticking your nose in his business where it doesn't belong, which in itself doesn't make sense because he was the one that publicized this in the
grown
first
man with
place.
a TikTok.
That reminds me too of I'm just going off right now, sorry. But like
Keep
that reminds
going.
me of like that YouTuber Daddy05. Do you remember that guy?
Yeah.
Psycho. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like you just shouldn't post your kids on YouTube and TikTok like that. Like, it's crazy. This guy, I think this was in like 2019 or something. He started getting a lot of traction and like negative and positive attention because he had this family channel, and family channels have like largely become like very frowned upon, but like the Ace family and stuff.
Yeah.
But like he had this family channel where they would very clearly treat one of their children really badly who had like autism or something. And like there was an incident where like this is a really sad thing that happened, but like this kid he really wanted to go on this family vacation, and they told him that he couldn't go with them to like Disney or whatever because he had been behaving badly and like behaving out of line. And what they meant by that is that he had like gotten into this like episode where he like smeared his own feces on the walls of their bathroom, which is something that kids with autism often do. Like if it's a severe case, if they're emotionally neglected.
He was autistic.
It's
and
like
neglected
literally
by
a
his
sign
family.
of abuse and neglect when they do that. And they said, you can't go on family vacation with us because you did that. And then when they get called out for it, and all these other videos where they're like screaming at their kids and like scaring them and doing these psychotic pranks on them, and then they claim, oh, it's all faked. How could you think it was real? Like, you're so gullible, guys. Like, we faked all of those pranks. All the kids were in on it. And it's like, first of all, even if the kids were in on
That's
it,
gross.
that's disgusting, and they don't know the gravity of what they're doing.
Right.
And it's
But secondly,
it's a gross that's even a thing that could be an out.
Right,
Like
yeah.
considered an out.
But if it's real, I'm calling CPS because
Right.
you're psychotic and abusive. So
mean,
there's no
is the
way that you can
autistic
get out
kid
of
in
that
on it?
not looking like a monster.
Well, I mean, remember we had the discussion about the girl with autism who got the contract with Victoria's Secret
I think she had Down
or
syndrome.
Down syndrome,
Oh,
and we're
yeah.
like, how can that
Yeah.
person even really consent?
Well,
to
I thought
doing that?
like, I guess they're trying to like de-sexify Victoria's Secret, and they thought, why not hire a disabled model to do that? Which is like
Did you see that one show
weird
recently?
thought process
messed
in
up.
general.
Yeah.
Did you see that show recently? And it was all like body positive,
Yes.
or
Yes.
like you saw the one from like a couple weeks ago where it's like the really hot model, and then like the lady comes up behind her who has the limp because she's got I think she only had
She
one
has like
leg.
an amputated
She's
leg.
like an amputee, and that
she's
one,
also overweight.
But I
and
just
stuff.
you just feel bad for her because she's being put right next to this really hot
Right.
model. But then I saw one the other week on Twitter where it's just all
I saw that too.
dude.
The catwalk.
You feel like you're
Somebody's
they're
in a
being. It
wheelchair.
feels like you're supposed to
Someone
laugh at
has
them.
vitiligo, someone has alopecia,
It's
someone
disgusting.
has an
It's
I thought it was
amputated
like a
leg,
joke.
someone's in a wheelchair, this other person's like gender ambiguous. Like there was literally nobody who looked like an actual professional model.
It looked like an
in that lineup.
over-exaggeration of exactly what's going on
And-
to
and
be
it's-
taken as a joke.
It's scary and cruel to the people involved
Right,
because
who'd
you're
wanna
putting them
walk
out
in
there
that?
for criticism.
Or roll.
Which, yeah, like you have to be of sound mind to choose to be in the arena where you're going to, even just having a social media page means you have to be opening yourself up to the ability of being criticized from whatever you post. I mean, assuming that you have your comments open and stuff like that. So to do that to kids who don't necessarily have that ability
Yeah.
is disgusting.
Yeah, the Daddy05 situation was like a really extreme example.
There's a reason why I keep my family stuff on Instagram pretty private. Like
Yeah.
I have to do a light vetting before people follow me.
Yeah.
You know.
Just standard practice, and it's gonna have to be like more well known that you have to like shield kids from being objects of scrutiny and ridicule to millions of strangers. Like that's just and more than that, there's also like just weirdos and creeps on the internet that sexualize children as well. Like
You're just
it's a
giving them
gross-
free content. It's disgusting.
It's a free for all, and
Yep.
you need to see it for what it is.
Yep.
You're never going to rein in the craziness.
So why put your kids in the line
So
of
don't
fire?
like throw them into it, Yeah.
Guys, I'm just going to give people an update. As you can see, the guns are working. I am using them. It is being done manually. We are going full steam ahead. I will let people know when we're getting close to the first crisis party, and thus she'll be set off manually as well. Crisis parties will still happen if we do this today. I'm going to make it happen. I might like sound even more smooth-brained than I normally do because I'm going to be very distracted today. But I'm just giving people a heads up that all will work out no matter what happens.
Yeah.
We're doing this. That is. I didn't know that, like, I mean, I don't follow family channels, so it's like I didn't really know. I do follow a lot of like couples that do reaction channels. I love couples that do reaction channels. That's a guilty pleasure of mine. Yeah. There was this great like period of time where like husbands and wives would react to the Bill Burr skit about motherhood and or about women, about basically anything about women, and then you'd see which guys were the alpha males who didn't look to their wife for permission to laugh. like if they would just laughed, then they're not
Harry's
of
the room.
I've been seeing a lot of channels like that. There's this one where this really tall chick married to some really short dude, and she's constantly just
you found my other
emasculating him.
channel.
She's like, this is how to
I saw this
stand in a picture if you've got a short king or whatever.
There was this other couple who, like, the guy is disabled.
Squirmy and Grubs. I was just about to say it. Yeah.
I didn't remember their names. He's like disabled and she's not. And literally all of their content is about how he's disabled and she's not. And it's like, just be normal. Like, just make normal content. If that's normal for you, why are you constantly talking about it?
There's the guy, the woman, the mother with dwarfism who has like a normal. They don't say normal, right? Do they say average size? They say average size.
Unabnormal.
Whatever.
So it's a woman with dwarfism and her son is average sized and they do content together.
Yeah.
Like she has a good sense of
5'8".
humor. Like she has a good sense of humor about it. Like
That one seems okay.
She's an adult. Like she's like, if anything, it would be that the kid is young. I mean, I don't know how old he is, but he looks like to be a teenager, or maybe he's in his early 20s or something like that. But you know, if you can laugh at yourself, I have no problem with that. Like one of my favorite channels is this guy who's blind and skateboards, and he starts all his videos with "I'm blind. This is how I." And then he talks about like the various
justified.
the very stuff that he does. It's like people don't realize that there's like an artful way to do content like that, and it just takes a certain amount of thought being put into it, and some people get too excited about the shot content and don't put the extra thought into it. So,
as for Madison Beer, though, now I'm feeling like almost certain that this is an astroturfed
think so.
ad campaign, basically for her memoir. Comes out April 25th, and I'm mentioning it because that's what she wants me to do, and I'm a good little consumerist slave.
Well, no, we're part of the marketing
But
machine,
it says,
technically.
And this is a memoir from singer-songwriter Madison Beer chronicling the past decade of her life spent in the spotlight, the ups, the downs, and in-betweens you won't see on social media.
I'm sorry, but I can't help but laugh whenever these people talk about the dark
side.
I'm like, your rough life of being like
the dark side of being literally hotter than Megan Fox.
Like being a hot 22-year-old in America must be tough, ladies and gentlemen. Holy shit.
She was wholly rejected by David Dobrik. So that must have been a blow to her ego for sure. It said, discovered at 12 years old, Madison Beer was one of the first artists to have her entire life documented online. Over the past decade, she has navigated the spotlight as a child, through her teenage years, and now as a young woman in her 20s.
It's got to be so rough to be a hot 22-year-old. So difficult. I can't fathom.
Worse than going to war.
In America, a hot 22-year-old woman. My heart breaks for you. It does.
My heart's like literally bleeding.
It does.
Right now.
It's bleeding right now. I can't imagine it. However, if the swattings were real, I do have
If
sympathy.
they're real,
then I do have sympathy. Yes.
If they're real, genuinely sorry. But I don't know. You can't really blame me for being skeptical.
At least being a little bit skeptical. All right, we got a couple of super chats there. Let's go do this, shall we?
We can try.
We can try.
Sure.
We're gonna try and figure this out as we go.
Sorry, I'm like looking.
Okay, this one we go up. It's from Corn Pop.
Okay, Corn Pop said, "I warned everybody and got blocked doing so."
Warned everybody about what?
I think everything Corn Pop says is equally ominous, so we won't know.
You'll need to let us know.
Wyatt Goldenberg said, most of Shakespeare's plays were written so common people could laugh at and mock the royal bloodline. Meg and Ginger are lucky William Shakespeare is dead. Well, they also would say that Shakespeare was a black woman who was also trans. disabled, neurodivergent. What else?
But also his works were
And
put on like a
dwarf.
list of like far right publications, along with like Orwell and what was the other one? People in the chat might know. There was like a list, like a recent British publication listed a bunch of stuff like where if you read it, you're an extremist.
Brave New World,
and
Fahrenheit
Brave New World was on
451.
there, and I think works of William Shakespeare were on there, and Tolkien
Really?
was on there. Yeah, so you can't read William Shakespeare. He's very, very bad.
Unusable Alpaca said, Burn Notice never finished season 1. I'm now binging it and have been taken aback to the past when TV was well written and sane. Keep up the good takes recommendations, Brett. I be the real alpaca.
Look,
the other alpacas are fake.
Like it is shocking if you watch any of those shows from the USA Network at that time. One of the things that they don't really do now in the age of, your The Last of Us and all these shows is they don't do individual storylines mixed with overarching storylines well because they're writing them all at once. Instead, you get weird gay episode just shoved in the middle that doesn't really connect very well to the rest of the series, right? What Burn Notice and White Collar and a lot of these other shows from that time period did is they did a episode of the week, so you could tune in if you just watch the show for the first time that day. The episode would make sense. Maybe you don't know the character names, but you can follow it generally. And there would be nuggets connected to the larger plot, either at the beginning and then sprinkled throughout the middle or the end as the B plot. And they did that very well, and they don't seem to do that very well these days. Also, Jeffrey Donovan has gone on to be a fairly marketable, he's not an action star, but, he's a good Josh Brolin Jr. Like, he's always kind of like next to Josh Brolin, like in Sicario. He's kind of just, he's a good serviceable B-man for your bigger budget movies. He's not going to be the star, but he's a TV star, but not a movie star. Mm-hmm. Gabrielle Anwar I don't know if she's doing anything. I think she married like a fashion designer and retired or something like that.
Oh, was he gay?
Maybe. No. Gabrielle, her husband?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I think I haven't seen her act in anything recently. And then Bruce Campbell is Bruce Campbell. Everyone loves Bruce Campbell.
1,000 Foot Deep End said, the tech problems are the common sense money gun reform Brett's always calling for. LOL.
So this is my fault.
Did Marco's $1 chat above Potatoes for Seamus get shouted out? I tried, and in all the chaos, I missed it. But yes, he was the only chat that actually showed up on our.
Yeah, something went off in the beginning.
Yep.
That was it, though. Then
So
the rest of them were silenced.
Right.
So, sorry about that, Marcos. Melissa Lynn said, I like the de-sexification of Victoria's Secret only because I would like a good bra, but never liked going in that store because of the sexy vibes.
Yeah.
I don't really like the store because it's very loud and kind of dark and jarring, and everything smells very strongly of perfume.
Yeah.
Hollister in
Hollister,
2000.
But
Oh,
I would
man.
like that from an Abercrombie these days. The thing about the de-sexification of Victoria's Secret is they did it to allow fatties to model their clothes, and I don't like that because it's oh great, that really makes me want to buy this. I'm seeing the fat models everywhere now.
Yep.
Looking at the websites of these clothing
You know what they should
brands
do?
all the time, and I'm like, I can't picture what that looks like on me
'Cause I'm not
if I'm
fat.
looking at it on somebody who is 300 pounds heavier than me. I'm sorry, I can't. And if a fat person has the similar complaint, well, sorry, but you
know what they should do?
don't represent me.
You know what they should do? Remember back in the day? Oh, Mary will not know what this is. But do you guys remember video stores? You remember Blockbuster?
Yeah.
Of course.
Maybe what they do back in the day, they used to they had porn at Blockbuster.
They did?
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No
Or
way.
Video Update. They maybe at Blockbuster, but Video Update did it. Other local video stores did it. What they did is they hid it behind a separate room, right?
Oh, yeah.
And they put down they had the carpet door thing, you had to walk through and it's lit
beads
differently.
and
So what they should do is they should put the fat people model stuff behind a wall
There's
that
a
you have
separate-
to walk through to get to. So that way they're still represented. They're just represented over there.
Yeah, they don't have to advertise it either because you don't advertise porn.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, there's an argument to be had about should you have the models blown up in large pictures on the windows of the stores because that's like awkward for people to walk by.
How much of the
parents.
business is actually really morbidly obese people, though? That's the question. It's like, if it's more than 50%, then sure. Maybe
We're
that
getting
is,
there.
you know?
The average female waistline, I think, is what was it, like 37?
37 or something like
38?
that.
Aren't there already
I have
shops?
no concept of that.
There are already shops that cater
Yeah.
to that, though. It's just like, why do we need the big
Lane
brand to be
Bryant.
that?
I don't need the Victoria's Secret Lane Bryant crossover event. I don't need it. I don't want it.
You have 2
They
separate
also
shops.
said something stupid like, we want to make Victoria's Secret about what women want, not what men want. Not knowing that what women
Has it
want
ever
is
been about
to
men?
be
wanted by men.
to be their own distorted version of what men want, which
Yes.
men don't actually want, but it doesn't actually matter at the end of the day.
That
you
kind of
know?
made sense.
Yeah, like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
100%.
Um,
In the chat, Ellen Garcia says there's a scale that opens the door.
it's like it unlocks.
Oh my
It
god,
unlocks the
that
door.
is incredible.
Yeah,
That
it's
is
like it's almost like a
incredible.
VIP thing. Like you
We're
want
going to
to.
invest in that. That's
No,
amazing.
there's a
stacking up to
there's
get
an
in the boardroom.
amazing meme or like video where it's like women who put like a ruler next to the door. It says like measuring hinge dates that say they're over 6 feet,
Oh,
and then a
no.
guy just goes up and just puts a scale down in front of the door.
Oh! Clapping back.
Bobcat said the woke don't like anything written by Freemasons because Freemasons have historically been anti-globalist and pro-individual freedom.
Well, that's based. Sign me up.
I like did my high school thesis on like Freemasonry, and I still don't totally understand it.
Are you a
like-
33 degree? Is that like 33?
I wrote about like how the city structure of DC is like shaped in a way to
Yeah.
like do like sacred geometry, basically.
Pierre Charles
It's hard to
L'Enfant,
explain, but like
the architect.
yeah.
Yep. I don't know why the hell I know that. Too much time on Wikipedia.
Also,
I mean,
nobody knows why they know the name of the Lusitania, but they
Yeah.
do. It's just one of those things. It's like the mitochondria being the powerhouse of the cell. It's just you had to know it.
it's like hi. It's the guy doing the meme. It's the meme of the guy like holding the guy's head and he's yelling at him. It's like can you teach me how to do my tax? It's like parabolas.
Hypotenuse.
RS Degurchaff said, "Come on, crisis party."
We are getting there. We are about $20 away from
It
the crisis
sucks 'cause,
party.
like, this is why we need the crisis meter so that we don't have to keep track of it, and you guys will
Right.
know.
Exactly. We're getting crash courses in multitasking again today. I mean, we're already multitasking
it's
when we're
okay.
doing the show. All right, guys, we're moving on. So, J.K. Rowling, you know what I've noticed, Mary, is that a lot of people are using the law to their advantage these days, and I do think that her recent threat against that gentleman on Twitter plays a role in just how quickly the BBC is pulling back on these claims that they keep publishing in their various BBC broadcasts. So it says BBC apologizes to J.K. Rowling for second time this month after she was accused of transphobia.
There was this trans writer and broadcaster personality named Carrie Marshall who said this about J.K. Rowling. That her video game Hogwarts Legacy, which she, by the way, had nothing to do with, is only making royalties off of it, is funding the anti-trans movement and having a measurable effect on trans people's lives and potentially safety too.
They never list stats.
I
they
think
just make
that's why
claims.
so many trans people are concerned about the game. They say measurable effect here.
Measured how?
Tell me.
Exactly.
Tell me what the measurable effects are. Don't just throw that out there. Back it up. I want to see. And then what they do always is bring up, the fact that trans people are murdered at higher rates, which is true. But we're not talking
By
about like the
wizards?
real reasons for that. It's not
Once my
a video
PlayStation is
game. It's not because people are playing a video game with wizards in it. Obviously. And if you are suggesting that even implicitly, you don't actually take the issue seriously.
Nope.
And you don't actually have compassion for the people you're talking about and claiming to defend. Like, I'm not going to get into the real reasons that you could say like trans people are murdered at higher rates. They are. But like those reasons have nothing to do with J.K. Rowling.
No, nor this video
Nothing.
game. Nor this video game.
Nor the
It's
video
also
game.
funny how normie, like how like Harry Potter is normie gold. It is. Like, there's a YouTuber that I follow named Sheena Melwani. She's the ultimate normie. She's a singer. She got famous doing this series of videos called Interrupted, where she'd perform songs on her piano while her husband would just interrupt and insult the song. And she's a mom. She's got 2 kids. They do tons of just, normie content. And recently, they were like at Universal Studios or whatever, and she's talking about like how much she loves she's like, I swear, we didn't spend all our time at Wizarding World, and all I could think about was like, look, I live in the same world she does. If not, she's probably more internet connected because she's an influencer, right? She's got 2 million followers on Instagram and a very, very successful, I think, 1 million followers on YouTube. So she has to know that this stuff at least exists in some way, shape, or form, but it doesn't stop them from talking about it. It's like you have to kind of work in this area of the internet for this to be as insane as it is, right? Like, I was like looking through the comments, I'm like, please don't let there be like weird comments on like her family vacation, like people think, why would you go to Harry Potter? Like, you're a bad person for going to do that. But there were no comments like that, at least not the ones that I saw. It's so weird how like it's almost like where you choose to spend your time online ends up dictating your like what the world you're going to live in is. And we're in a world right now where Harry Potter, just the video game and the author are evil, but Universal Studios for some reason isn't. Back to school, like, does a kid carrying like a Harry Potter binder into class, is he transphobic? Is he causing problems for an entire community of people? It makes no sense. There are no rules, and like you said, when they don't even provide statistics or a viable reason as to why the numbers they might give correlates to her being loosely connected to a video game that she didn't write, like, it doesn't make any sense. And it's not supposed to make sense. It's just supposed to bring chaos.
Do they think that every dollar in J.K. Rowling's bank accounts multiple is, assigned and dedicated to some anti-trans movement?
Yes, because they're not smart.
Like, she spends money on other things.
Yeah.
Like, clothes and vacations.
She like goes and finds clothes.
Real
She's
estate.
like, when she buys clothes, she's like, no trans person made this, right? Okay, good. I'm just making sure.
I think J.K. Rowling probably, uses her money in like a capitalist sense to support more companies that openly support trans people than not.
Yeah, it's not like she's going around buying all the trans medicine.
The most credible claim you could make is that she runs this women's shelter in Scotland that only accepts biological females in their clinic.
Yeah.
Absurd.
That's it. But that doesn't actually victimize anybody because there are other shelters that accept both trans and cis women, which I don't even like the term.
What does that even mean, cis?
Like, it literally just means not
Normal.
trans, but
It's a
it's like
made-up
one of
word.
these Orwellian terms that they've like forced on us to use, and I resent that.
I saw like a post the other day that was like really creepy about how it was basically like a prophetic like worshiping of they them of like gender non-specific pronouns. It was like they them doesn't hurt anyone. They them is inclusive.
That's creepy.
It was like this long, and it was done in the vein of like professing love.
Or someone like
it was so
in the corner of an
weird,
insane
dude.
asylum, like pulling their hair out
Right.
and like just like rocking back and forth and
That's what I
saying their
picture.
mantra to themselves.
Remember Super Straight? Remember when Super Straight was a thing?
Super
Oh,
straight.
yeah.
That was a good meme, actually.
Yeah.
Once again, proving that the right is the only side that can meme.
Yes.
Because they were just so pressed about it and had nothing alternative, like anything funny to say in response.
Is it weird
It's
that
nothing.
that the left used to be able to do comedy, but can't meme? Like, you think?
I mean,
those same...
were they able to do comedy?
Yes,
I think
they were.
They were only like good at it in terms of like being relatable in other ways.
I
you
mean,
know? By being apolitical.
I can.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm saying, but those people would still be what you would generally consider. Like, Jim Carrey is a socialist. Like, but I still love Liar Liar and Ace Ventura and all of the Jim Carrey movies, right?
like what
Yeah.
made him want to,
back in
be so outspoken?
I mean, he grew up poor and talked about how like government assistance is like basically what kept his family going when he was younger. So that was important to him. So, but
Okay.
it is weird
Therefore,
how
socialism. I mean, I'm not connecting.
well, he's from
the
Canada.
dots,
He's from
but-
Canada, so he's
Sure.
talking about it mostly.
So go
in-
back to Canada
Yeah.
and never step foot in this country again.
He's talking about it mostly in the terms of medicine.
George Carlin was pretty liberal. He was hilarious,
Yes.
but he was very much like free speech and anti-government.
He would be heterodox, I think, if anything. Like he,
Yeah.
like, you know, is like his comparison when he talks about how you don't need a formal conspiracy to make for people to take over the world is incredibly. One of the most like concise ways of explaining how he talks about how interests converge. He goes, they don't need to sit in a table, sit around in a circle and have a meeting. They go to the same country clubs. They're on the same boards of directors. Interests converge naturally to these people. And his ability to explain that in a concise way is shocking. Like, and that was when he was being told, there is no conspiracy to steal elections. A guy says that to him, and he goes, there used to be 7 oil companies. There's now 2. He goes, there's 2 political parties. There's the illusion of choice in America. So he was as much a political commentator as he was a comedian.
Yeah.
Like, I remember somebody pushing back on me when he talked about the idea about political correctness is just fascism it's just fascism masquerading as manners. And somebody wrote me this really long explanation. It's not fascism because it's not a threat of violence. And I'm like,
Dude, Carlin broke that down perfectly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Are there any people like that today left?
What do you like as a 1-to-1 comparison of him? I don't think so. But
in the ballpark?
There are comedians that do good work today. I mean, I think Ryan Long is doing great work at finding a middle ground between when he does his one about him being objectified at the gym is something anyone can find funny. Also, I would like to say that the gym community has come through hard in making fun of those people. Because there are infinite skits of hot women and men at the gym now where the woman's pretending she's standing in front of a camera and she's sticking her butt out and doing this, and the guy's lifting weights next to her and he's getting a crick in his neck because he can't he has to they're all in on it. So it's the people in the community understand the ridiculousness of that. So that's good.
It was one of the most extreme examples.
Social media is really the only place where you can go to now for heterodox or just humor that doesn't need to be political, right?
Not even really, because imagine what Twitter would be like or YouTube would be like without the need to self-censor.
Yeah.
We would be unstoppable, actually. They just have to put limits on that and our humanity, honestly.
I like the sillier humor. I like the ones of the guy where he's knocking a cup off my table at 3 a.m. and it goes flying around the house and the cup goes and it knocks over a table. It goes knock stuff off table.
There's a place for that, but there also has to be a place for humor that pushes more buttons than that.
Yeah.
And it's just not allowed now because it's considered unladylike, I suppose. It's everyone is in finishing school on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube.
I mean, the people that do it
getting taught etiquette by these tyrants
on the internet. Yep.
Yeah.
So the part that annoys me about the J.K. Rowling thing, it's the constant assertion that something is true without ever providing any type of statistical evidence to it and doing it in the most hyperbolic way that takes advantage the good-natured personality of most people who are just going to assume that what you're saying is true and say, oh my God.
And sympathize when you claim to have a plight.
Yeah.
Which means you're going to burn in the lowest circle of hell.
Yeah, for doing that.
To spend goodwill like that because it's a finite resource, trust me.
And I consider myself part of that group that's who's aware of it, but there's a lot of people who want to give you the benefit of the doubt that you're taking advantage of.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're not aware. Thoughts?
My best friend is exactly that person.
That gets taken advantage of because
he doesn't realize it.
Well, I mean, and you got to feel bad for them, but you can't lead a horse to you can't make them understand that their goodwill is being weaponized against them, and that also J.K. Rowling did the thing where she talked about how she's not worried about her legacy, which is based.
You seem to think that it was kind of presumptuous that she would even opine on her legacy, what her legacy might be after
I think that all of the evidence to the contrary proves that she's more concerned about issues in the here and now. Otherwise, if she was worried about her legacy, she wouldn't be talking about this stuff.
Okay. So this is from a new podcast called The Witch Trials of J.K. Rowling. It seems to be a limited series just talking about her life. Should we play it or would that be copyrighted?
I think it'd be copyrighted.
Oh, okay.
But the general idea.
She was just like, I don't care about the legacy I might leave behind to some people who think I'm, you know, the monster or like the witch that they need to hunt down because like I'll be dead. I'm concerned with the living and like what's going on in the here and now. And
I love it.
That makes sense.
More people these days are worried about, maybe they're not worried about their legacy, but they're definitely worried about their image or
Their
how
brand.
people, or their
That's
brand.
what the South
or how
Park episode was about. Is like we're teaching kids now that
was
they need to
super on point.
manage their brand on digital platforms before they're even adults.
And that's just an outcome that's going to be here because now with social media being a monetizable way of making a living.
Unfortunately, it's true.
And being part of kids' lives so early,
Right.
they have to start. It's funny too because it's not like the idea of being told to watch what you do online, what you post online, didn't go back to like when we were in school.
Right.
Like that stuff was said to me.
Yes.
When I was in school, like be careful what you post online. But then it was because the college admissions board is going to look at it, or because employers are going to look at it. Now it's morphed into an entirely different animal.
Yeah, now not posting is like you're not doing good enough.
Yeah.
The college
build your
admissions thing
resume.
is hilarious because like I'm sorry, like you'll admit David Hogg to Harvard because he like writes a Black Lives Matter poem or something,
What was that?
but you won't admit somebody who tweeted like the R word on Twitter in like 2012.
There should also be
I'm so lost about our moral compass as a society.
there's also like there's
I have
a
nothing
shocking
in common with these people.
there's a shocking like refusal to forgive people who do stuff when they're kids. Like
specifically when they're children on the
Teenagers.
internet,
Yes.
which is still like we don't put enough credit on this. It is still an incredibly new thing.
there was a guy who did like a Spider-Man. He was making a Spider-Man fan film. He was the lead actor in a Spider-Man fan film, and he got caught. Like old DMs of his came out where he said the N-word when he was like 15, and they canceled the movie. People lost their jobs because this dude said some edgy stuff that he probably shouldn't have said. He was a kid.
Okay, but these screenshots come from somebody who.
Oh,
It works.
crisis party.
Thank you. These screenshots presumably come from like somebody who used to be his friend, right?
Yeah.
So this is a betrayal of trust, but you're the one who's supposed to say sorry.
Yes.
Like even the presumption that you would need to be forgiven to me, I find that like way overstepping boundaries.
Yeah, this is a tale of being double crossed, and who not to hire would be the person who.
The person who sent you the
that.
screenshots, exactly. Yeah, like, do you
Like,
think
wow.
that you're gonna be safe from liability when you just brought in a
Right.
tattletale snitch?
That's a moral crime.
there was
some geek, like.
Yeah.
There was a guy who there was like a thing posted the other day where it was like somebody's like, how do I report somebody with expired tabs? Like he
Oh
took
my
a picture of
gosh.
someone's license plate. That's the world we live in now, dude.
People are just not
Everyone's a
busy
whistleblower
enough,
for-
dude. I also thought about Clubhouse for this reason because people were really like into Clubhouse before Twitter Spaces were a thing.
Yeah.
And it's because you don't have a chat log. Like, obviously, it's because you're afraid of people snitching. And the reason that it was invite only is because another thing, like, you don't want it to be open to everyone who could be spying on you and looking for the worst possible way to frame everything you say. It's invite only because it's about like a barrier of trust, right? That you're a trustworthy person. And on Clubhouse, it was a feature that like if anyone in a Clubhouse conversation had blocked someone, they can't listen into the conversation. So if there are like 40 people in there and only one had blocked someone, the blocked person can't listen to the conversation.
Yeah.
Because if you are a tattletale snitch nerd, then you have lost your privileges to be included. It's called a clubhouse for a reason. It's like you are not part of our club because you acted out. You are the snitch at the back of the class.
I don't often like you talk a lot about shaming. Absolutely.
This is
for
what is needed.
Snitch behavior
Yeah.
in a situation like that. I mean, remember, during COVID, they were talking about people were like snitching out their neighbors for having barbecues. Like,
Well, my point about Clubhouse was like Taylor Lorenz then
Oh my god.
she was blocked by somebody in a Clubhouse conversation, used a sock account that she like probably bought the invite link to, used a sock account to record someone she thought said the R word in the conversation, but actually had not said that. Yep. And she was like, oh, I thought that I heard a male voice say it, and I assumed it was this person. I don't know. And then she like privated her Twitter. Like, you
The worst
are
kind of
such
people.
a socially maladjusted freak. You should go into hiding for the rest of your career over something like that.
I mean, they're just people who never had friends growing up. They never developed any type of actual social structure that required you to be not dependent, but where you had to earn a level of trust amongst a group of friends.
Right.
People talk a lot about the evils of hazing and stuff like that. There was a purpose to those types of activities. It built a level
Trauma
of trust.
bonding.
It's trauma bonding. It's literally, it's trust built through shared humiliation.
To a certain degree.
Yeah.
To a certain
like,
degree.
if you played sports, that was a huge part of how you bonded with your teammates. I mean, it also comes down to, the experiences you have.
Like, there's
together.
a level between hazing and like Little St. James that we can, there's like a happy medium between
What's Little St.
normal
James?
hazing and Epstein Island blackmail schemes.
Dude, I'll tell you what.
I feel like a lot of college frats kind of get closer to like, we have blackmail material on you, therefore you owe us loyalty territory. But yeah, like hazing, that's like normal social behavior that's somehow lost on us now.
It's funny. I've been watching Buffy, and the clip I posted yesterday was from this episode where the swim team is they turn into fish monsters, and it's incredible because it's like but there's a scene at the beginning where basically one of them acts out, and Buffy like tries to like report this dude to the school, and he basically gets away with it scot-free because he's an athlete. And it's kind of refreshing to look at a thing like this from 20 years ago where they don't make it about the fact that he's white. I know this is a weird aside, but it's like, have you ever seen the
little things that keep
have you
you
ever
going,
seen
you
the
know?
Belinda Carlisle, the literal music video for what's the song? What's the Belinda Carlisle song? The Total Eclipse of the Heart. And there's do you know what literal versions of music videos where they play the song and a person sings the song in the tune of the song, but it's just they describe what's going on in the music video. And there's this scene in there where like a bunch of preppy guys are like toasting, and they say that in the music video. There's a bunch of preppy guys make a toast, and they say like they just basically call them douchebags. I miss the days where you just called those people douchebags and you didn't make it about race or sex. Right? It was just the fact that they were bad people. Like, anybody can be a douchebag. Yeah. Anybody. Like, there is no race or gender has a monopoly on douchebaggery. Anybody can do that. It's a bit of an aside, but it comes into play because we were talking about hazing and stuff like that.
Well, it's the same thing as like mansplaining. Like, just being condescending doesn't really know a gender.
I love the meme. It says like mansplaining says it's when you're explaining things to a woman. So when a man explains things to a woman, it shows a guy explaining it to a girl. A guy explaining mansplaining to a woman.
Yeah.
All right, we got some super chats there. We got a couple.
What is who is the first one?
We are looking for.
I'm probably not up to date here.
We are at hypothesis.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
He said we want privacy. Oh no, we want privacy.
Privacy.
We want privacy.
We
have to live through this nightmare.
Well, we have
where
to with a megaphone go around.
we're given millions of dollars to talk about ourselves.
That is a fantastic example of good comedic writing, though. A privacy world tour is a fantastic comedy bit. Like, I love it.
R. Fontanez said, no cap, Mark Wahlberg will totally pray the rosary with you on the Hallow app, not an ad. Space is fake. Whoop whoop.
He's I've seen that.
I've heard of the app. I haven't downloaded it because I think you need to pay for it. I'm
Mark Wahlberg is great. Like
choosy, but Yeah, he's awesome.
Mark Wahlberg is one of those dudes where like, and look, I'm always like, remember, we're never blind to the idea that these people have pasts, and a lot of it could be an act. But I choose to be selectively delusional when I need to be.
There are the celebrities that routinely post, the Ash Wednesday selfie every year.
That's a big one.
I don't mind that at all.
That's a big one. Another way you can tell, like, if you're looking for ways to suss out based people, if they post Veterans Day or Memorial Day stuff, they tend to lean that way. Like all of the members of SEAL Team, the show SEAL Team, post stuff
I love
about
that
Veterans
a sign
Day.
that you're sane is that you don't despise our country and people in the military.
That's
Funny
exactly what
you
it
say
is.
that.
Like, what?
I made
How have
my,
we gotten to this point?
Facebook banner the American flag on like July 4th, 2018, knowing that like the day this is flagged for being inappropriate that's the end. It's kind of the litmus test.
I did. It's funny. I did that, and Facebook wouldn't let me change it.
What?
It wouldn't let me. It kept erroring out.
Like,
That's weird.
when
Like
you try to make it the flag?
Yeah.
Do you think that it was?
I mean, it could have just been
on
a
purpose,
glitch. I'm not. I mean, yes, it was It was Zuckerberg. He's
got
anti-American.
zucked, bitch.
China. He's
Try
bought,
uploading a China
he's
one.
bought and paid for by the Chinese government, and I think Mark Wahlberg understands just how much influence I have, and he has to prevent me from spreading my pro-America message.
Right.
I am a threat.
You could ruin him.
I could.
Caper2X said, so Mary is 0.33 degrees Mason.
That's the highest level of masonry, right?
I don't know
I believe
anything about
33 degree
of
mason
masonry.
is the highest level of masonry. I'm totally guessing.
I don't think women can be Masons though.
I don't
Can
think they
they
can.
Yeah. Anyway, 2 thumbs up to Disney Plus National Treasure, The Edge of History TV series, worthy sequel to the movie Brett.
Look, man, I love you, but
But you're wrong.
no, I haven't watched it. But I'm just saying, there's only so many hours in the day. I have a lot of Buffy the Vampire Slayer to watch, and
So many episodes
like
of Buffy.
as much as I would love to love it. The idea that they won't even put Nicolas Cage into it until season 2 is abhorrent, disgusting. It's unfathomably
prequel?
wrong.
Why are they not putting Nicolas Cage?
Because he's a white dude.
he accepted the role, I'm sure.
So no Nicholas. He's going to be in the second season. I heard. I mean, like maybe I missed something. Maybe he's in the first season. But like I was told that he wasn't going to be in the first season. And look, I got a lot to watch right now. I got a lot to watch. I just started The Pretender on Amazon. I'm suffering through the Amazon Prime interface.
We've got Cocaine Bear tomorrow.
We've got Cocaine Bear. Ooh, anybody here want to watch?
I'll watch that.
Brick. Yeah.
Yeah, Cocaine Bear. We're excited.
Did Blood and Honey come out already? Am I late to the party?
Yeah.
Missed the party on it.
so-
But it's still out, I think.
I was talking. There was a comment the other day that was talking about how they're like, Brett just wants like better propaganda, and I was thinking like everything that comes from a writer has a certain level of what they choose to focus on becomes a level of propaganda. I was like, what would the propaganda have been in Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey? The only thing I can really think of is he only attacks women without being preempted. Like he attacks the men because the men come after him, but but they go after the women just cause.
You guys are spoiling it for me.
Well, I haven't okay.
You think it's like a commentary?
Somebody said that like there was an article written by AV Club that didn't really say that, but I was trying to think
like he waited for the dudes to provoke him, I guess.
But they went after the women on their own, right? I'm like, so like if there's a movie with very little in the way of propaganda, you could say that. I guess it's like maybe it's propaganda that all people that live in the country are hicks and dumb, which they kind of portray. But
even
it's not
though
really
they're
a central
in the British
theme.
countryside.
Yeah.
I
You can still be a hick in a. Can you be a hick in another country?
Do they have an equivalent?
But they can just be considered dumb and uncivilized because they're not from the city.
Maybe.
Like that's still snobbish behavior in the writing, right? So it's like you can find some level of propaganda in everything. Like every military show that I love, that I bet you most of the people here or that watch would love is still military propaganda. Absolutely. Like it's like they want you watch old episodes of NCIS Los Angeles and they just love talking about the frickin' the Patriot Act. We're gonna hold you under the Patriot Act. Yes, that was propaganda too. It's just people just want the propaganda they like. Mm-hmm. They just want the stuff that appeals to them.
Blue Heart said, "Have a great night, ladies, and Mary."
Well,
That's not nice.
No, like if he was an
It's an
athlete.
insult to everybody.
No, if he was,
Yeah.
it would be an insult to Mary. To the guys, it could be read as like when you play sports, your coach will call you ladies to get yourself in gear.
It's like a fraternal thing,
Yes.
I guess.
Yep.
Chris said that was Wayne's World, the scene where they were bowing to Alice Cooper after his speech on Native tribes.
Yes, it's after he says Milwaukee. It's like Milwaukee. It's Algonquin for the good land. It's also the line in the end that's tied there is the part where he plays the "May I Help You" riff in the guitar store. And then he plays the guitar and he starts playing Stairway to Heaven. And the guy stops him and points to a sign next to a stairway. It says, "No stairway allowed." And he goes, "No stairway. Denied." It's incredible.
Tacty Platty said Tacty Platty will be the new George Carlin. No avocado.
There you go.
Shout out to Tacty Planet.
No avocado is the new no
I don't know
cap.
if you could see it. I got a sticker.
Oh yeah,
Hey.
good quality stickers.
quality.
Let's hold off on the rest. And somebody said
Okay.
Brett just setting off the crisis meter. Cuz no, we have
Are you
made
keeping
it.
track
We
still?
have. I am still keeping track. So we
Okay.
have made it. So we are going to keep going, guys. So after J.K. Rowling, this is the one we probably should have led with this one because it's absolutely bonkers.
It is.
James
yeah.
Cameron says that he can relate to Thanos' plan to just off billions of people. That is,
Am I vindicated now on saying that Way of Water was extremely anti-humanity?
look, I think when it boils down to it, it's great for a soundbite, but I think he's edgelording to be like to keep himself.
If he's
in news.
edgelording, he's way too old to be doing that.
Yes, like the criticism should be like, "Hey, dork, you're."
So
you're
he's talking about this because there's like the tree hugging climate propaganda from Avatar that was, not really accepted back in 2010 as much by executives, but he went ahead with it and it was well liked.
yeah.
I think in spite of that. And then now movies like Infinity War are using a similar plot line where like the earth is so like ravaged by human corruption and like just like it's so polluted both spiritually and actually in the environment that you have to like destroy part of humanity to keep the earth alive. That's Thanos's belief system.
Nobody's
right?
better at propaganda than the people who make videos about climate change. It's the music is super serious and
it's
scary.
the same thing as assisted suicide and
Yup.
euthanasia, essentially.
Yep.
So here's what James Cameron said. It might have been a joke, it might not have been. He said, "I can relate to Thanos. I thought he had a pretty viable answer. The problem is nobody is going to put up their hand to volunteer to be the half that has to go."
It has to be like he's too smart. He's
He'll
not
be
an
like,
idiot.
and I think white males with
Should
too much testosterone in their bodies should go first.
on the ship, 'cause it'd be cool if he turned it into a flat Earth thing. He's like, and we're gonna fill a boat of people to push off the edge of the Earth, and white men are gonna be the first ones on that boat, and we're gonna measure you by testosterone level, and then off the side of the planet
And
you go.
it's crazy to hear that from him because like his whole career is actually like quite impressive if you think about it.
Yeah,
Like
oh, yeah.
his track record. I think he was like a truck driver before, and
Me
like
too.
he was like
Really?
very like started from square one and made an empire and made a name for himself, and that's like a really good thing. And he did it through like blood, sweat, maybe tears, but also just like a pioneering spirit that is essentially masculine
Yep.
and requires testosterone. And
It's like
now he wants
tell-
to turn on that.
well, no, it's
Or
pulling the
he's
ladder up.
eliminating the competition
Pulling the
by
ladder up
now
behind you.
claiming that that's like, yeah, testosterone is a toxin.
It's like with Joaquin Phoenix after he wins his award, talking about how we need to make changes to help marginalized communities. They always pull the they're actually really talented when you think about it, because what they do is they pull the ladder up behind them while patting themselves on the back at the same time. It's actually quite a feat.
The dexterity is impressive,
yeah, it's
for sure.
good. I'm impressed. Look, he's an edgelord. He's a dork.
What if he was serious? I feel like okay, I don't know who reads Time
we would need to see
magazine
the
anymore,
interview.
but like they didn't really write it in a way that suggested he was quipping or joking.
They point that out in the
around.
article. They're like, yeah, we couldn't tell if he was kidding or not. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's good, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, imagine, like, who would be an equivalent of someone like, imagine Donald Trump said this. The articles that would be
imagine
written
the
would be
deluge.
incredible.
Right.
Like, unhinged former president declares his love of the idea of depopulating the
Another
planet.
thing is this Time article starts by saying James Cameron wanted a vegan set on Avatar: The Way of Water. Anything less would be hypocritical. So he's talking about the catering essentially that he ordered for the crew and the cast. It had to be vegan because, quote, we couldn't lecture oil companies and turn around and eat hamburgers.
Why not?
Yeah.
Genuine question. Why not?
I'm actually asking that.
Why
not?
is it that like the only changes we can talk about making in regard to like saving the climate are changes that reduce my individual quality of life? Meaning shorter showers,
Well, you ride on
less
private
meat.
jets.
Yeah, less animal products. I can't wear leather, and you get to ride on private jets around the globe, preaching at us.
Yeah. Or they just fly to wherever
But
they
we
need
don't
to go.
have
They
to
don't
talk
need
about
drive.
like the mega corporations that actually. I mean, we don't talk about like the actual polluters of the earth.
China and India.
Exactly, China and India's mega corporations
Yes.
that are not regulated in any way.
It's gonna go on forever,
Unrelated,
too.
but it's just like I'm fed up with this, and why is it coming from somebody who has no expertise on the matter?
I can't wait for like the document. Okay, this would be great. There would be a documentary, like a Hulu documentary one day about the cast and crew, or they'd be about the crew. Like eventually, like one crew member, like a camera operator, will start a social media page and he'll get famous. And one day they'll make a documentary about his job trying to live vegan on the set of Way of Water.
I want to find out what the carbon footprint of Way of Water is.
Like I'm picturing him like he's like trying to get the shot, but he can't keep his hands up because he's so damn tired.
Right.
Because he's got no energy. Because he's got no meat.
if you really calculate it objectively, it must take a bigger carbon footprint to process fake meat products than to just give people real meat.
Just lecturing people while making the movie, which has a carbon footprint, is annoying.
Think of the trans people, Mary.
Honestly, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm gonna do better.
Do better.
I'm gonna listen, and I see you, I hear you, you're valid.
Like, the-
etc.
I mean, the native avatars
learning.
didn't have real food to eat either, so.
Okay,
I'm
trying-
still learning and
Here's
growing.
this could be a pushback. This could be a pushback. What if what if he actually did, like, say, I'm just kidding, but, and they just cut that shit out of the interview. They're like, let's make him look as unhinged as possible.
James Cameron just thinks he's the shit, and it's like frustrating because in a lot of ways he is.
He sounds like a guy who lost an Oscar to his ex-wife.
Wait, is this true?
Hurt Locker.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
2010?
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
He's still bitter about it.
And now
Still bitter.
all of what he does is like compensating.
Exactly, yeah.
as a
Oh, yeah, they
result.
made a South Park episode about that.
Yeah.
Where he kept raising the bar.
Yeah.
The Leo DiCaprio not getting an Oscar meme kind of went on for too long.
Oh, yeah,
Speaking of
sleeping
which.
naked.
Well, yeah,
beside
when
a
he
dead
finally
horse,
got it, like
"Oh!"
when he finally got it, they were like,
like
"Did
so
he-
anticlimactic.
How did you get it for The Revenant, but not for Wolf of Wall Street?" Like
Oh my
that
gosh.
doesn't make any sense.
Toxic
And also
masculinity.
kind of further proves the point that it's all just kind of fake anyways, right?
Right.
Like if you're
Who
giving
cared about Oscars anyway?
if it was actually about the art, it wouldn't matter that he hadn't won it yet. It would matter that it was the right
Yeah.
movie to it. But
They
it
actually
doesn't.
start talking about Oscars in this article as well, and like the nature of, low budget Oscar bait, preachy type of movies.
Yeah.
Maybe you could say Tar is one of them versus the big blockbusters like Way of Water. How, the blockbusters are overlooked when it comes to awards season because, it takes away supposedly from the prestige of the award and like what it means for art. But I thought about this like as analogous to record labels. Like you have the big artists that are like commercially viable, like a Taylor Swift or like, Billie Eilish.
Yeah.
or all of these rappers, you know, like all of these big names make it possible for the record label to also fund smaller artists that then, you know, get a platform off of it. So like the blockbuster brings people to the theaters, and the theaters are then able to show movies that don't make them a profit, because people go to the movie theater to see Way of Water and not to see Tar.
Yeah, that's I mean, in a lot of ways, they owe a lot of it to...
It's an ecosystem that is, like, that you should recognize it as a symbiotic relationship, because, like, they have such an elitist mentality that's like a zero-sum game between real art and, like, commercial product.
You could look at Way of Water as commercial art. That's not, like, at the very least, it has a message that seems to be,
I'm saying it's like a false dichotomy.
Yeah, absolutely. No, like, it's funny too, 'cause, I mean, that's one of the things that I talk a lot about. I talk a lot about the idea of, like, where art and commerce constantly intersect. You get it's the executives versus the artists, which is why when certain people get too much power, it doesn't always work. Look at what happened when Patty Jenkins finally she didn't just get to direct the movie, she got to write and direct Wonder Woman 2. Look how that turned out. A lot of people would make the argument that George Lucas not having anyone to tell him no when they made the prequels wasn't necessarily a good idea. Like art and commerce, you do need people that say no. You do need people that understand the consumer every bit as much as you understand the art. It's why marketing is such an art form for them, right? Like there is a whole genre or genres of movies that are very hard to market because it's not easy to cut a trailer in a way that will bring people to the theaters. But a lot of times they're not expecting those movies to make a ton of money in the theaters anyways. A lot of those movies were expected to make a little bit of money in the theaters and a lot more money on home video and DVD sales. But the problem is that's not headline worthy.
Back to like the headline worthy statement that he made though, like about Thanos, I think whether he was being an edgelord and just joking around or whether he was stone cold serious about what he said.
I wish we could see his face.
I think it comes from actually like a genuine belief system that he thinks like humanity is a problem that needs to be extinguished.
The climate activist in him makes it far more likely that he's actually nuts and believes this.
Like he is, you know, from what it seems, militantly vegan, thinks that that's a solution to anyone's problems, which is like eye roll level stupid. And he made this movie, you know, for all of its strong points, which I'm totally willing to talk about too. It does have an anti-humanity message, and also I think it kind of demonizes the like human pioneering instinct that has
exploration
of exploration, but also just like our draw to like just survival. Like imagine this world where the earth is uninhabitable, and maybe it has something to do with you know, natural consequences of our actions, but it's also just like something that was totally out of our control, and we need to survive by colonizing a different planet, and it happens to have another species. Why is that 100%, you know, seen as a moral
why is
wrong?
why
is it wrong that we want to survive and it's right that the Na'vi want to survive? Why is that? And why are the Na'vi somehow inherently more enlightened and ethical than us?
Well, the idea would be
why do they have harmony with their planet and with their creatures, but we have lived in disharmony with our planet and our like animals for all of human history? It just doesn't make any sense, other than a fundamental belief underneath the story that human beings are just, you know, inherently evil and should be eliminated.
Also, at what point do you just accept that maybe the people that are now pushing forward to colonize another planet, or the people that regrettably understand that rolling back will never work, and that maybe the planet is beyond saving, but that wasn't their decision. They did not like assume that was true, right? Are you to demonize the people who now have to inherit that problem?
Exactly. The people who are running the military in Way of Water, they were born into an uninhabitable Earth.
Yeah.
They're forced to survive.
That doesn't make them bad.
And that doesn't make them bad. Yeah. I mean, Oh, I forget the villain's name now.
I already forgot.
The guy in Avatar?
Yeah, the guy who's like trying to kill Jake Sully.
Yeah,
Let me Google it.
yeah, I already forgot his name.
But like, yeah, you can say he as an individual is a bad guy, but he's also like, I feel like James Cameron positioned him as like representing humanity's worst
Colonel
aspects.
Miles Rick Quaritch.
Oh yeah,
Quaritch. Yeah,
Quaritch. Yep. But
I didn't appreciate that undercurrent, but I can also recognize that there was a good like family structure shown and a strong father figure shown in Jake Sully, and that's something we don't often see in movies now.
It's kind of shocking to me that that's as rare as it is, but not really. Like when I think about the way that entertainment has gone in the last 20 or 30 years. But I don't know if he was serious. But his climate change activism, like that is absolutely a talking point from plenty of people who aren't willing to admit that, you know, maybe before we do that we discuss China and India.
Well, once again,
before we take out half the planet, let's talk about like places other than America.
The climate stuff is once again an ethical posturing where like your ethical decisions are only refraining from doing things.
Yeah.
Like, it's so easy and low effort to say you're a moral person and a virtuous person just because you refrain from doing X and Y.
I guess it's like
eating meat. You refrain from, you know, keeping the faucet on while you brush your teeth.
Or something.
And Elon,
you're a good, virtuous person because you recycle. Like, no, like, you should be seen as virtuous because you have compassion for people, you know?
I guess also maybe there's a distinction here between like people that are doers and people like for a person who's not like an Elon Musk who can start a company or is really intelligent and can work towards plausible outward solutions. Rolling back is like how a person with a good heart, but maybe not the intelligence to work on the problem itself, feels like they're involved. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think what becomes wrong with it is when it's weaponized against the population.
I mean,
by people with agendas.
Why is being good at making movies not enough for him, honestly?
You'd
That's
think,
what I'm
right?
wondering.
You'd
and then
think.
he's also kind of, it's expressed in this interview as well that he's cut out his way in Hollywood to be a jerk face. And people appreciate him for it, and it's like
for being a jerk face.
Yeah, like
he's made
like
his
about
brand.
You know the shoot of Titanic and how emotionally taxing it was for Kate Winslet, and she hinted that she wouldn't work with James Cameron again because he would just like be a jerk and yell at people all the time.
Yeah.
Across the cast and crew of all levels, and. On one hand, that's because you need to be tyrannical in order to like get a product made.
A good director has to be tyrannical. Like
there's a limit, though.
No, okay, yeah.
There's a bit of a when it comes to like ruining Shelley Duvall's like mental health, like because of making a movie. Like,
but did they film it?
Is it right? No. Did it make the product better? You could argue that.
Right.
You'll get better results going the more tyrannical route than you will going the Olivia Wilde route. You will. Like collaborative,
the Olivia Wilde
which
route?
is like we're all like everyone's
having sex with your cast.
Yes, well that too. Everyone has input. Everyone's respected. This and that. Those are fantastic slogans and buzzwords.
But
that's
you know
not
that's
how
even
good,
more toxic than having the anger on the outside.
It's not how actual corporate art gets made at that level. It's just not. There's too many moving pieces. There's too many people to manage. There's too much to do that it can't be a woo-wee kumbaya. Let's all get together and get along thing. They've still got deadlines. They've got financiers. They've got like expectations that they need to meet. Right? Like they're looking to make a profit, and you don't profit off feelings. It's like when people say like you don't like Twitter. You know, Twitter likes don't fill your bank account. Like it's not going to work. You have to, at a certain point, decide that if it's your vision, it's your project, or in this case, if it's, James Cameron, he writes and directs, right? So if you're the director and a studio puts you in charge of this project, a studio that's not Marvel, who's really the one that's in charge, you're expected to deliver on something. And, you know, at least back in the day before you failed upwards in Hollywood, now you fail upwards. Now they're like, fantastic, not making any money on that movie. How about helming this Marvel?
for you.
And it's funny, too, because we see it as failing upward, but if anything, they're actually given less control. When they finally get that big Marvel movie, they're actually getting less control and being less creative than they would be on their own projects.
Of getting an opportunity to create something. And I think they know that, and they still are happy with it because they're emotional kindergartners.
Well, and it's the same thing as the people who they've accepted that they're going to be tokenized and they're okay with it.
It's like when you're like, you're playing, you know, checkers with an adult as a kid and they let you win.
Yes.
Like, it's literally that.
They're like, oh.
And they're like happy about it. They like to know that they're being proselytized to.
And they know that there will be social media, like they're like, sure, I'm not going to get to actually have any say or creative input in this movie, but there will be articles written about me. I will be lauded as some type of amazing artist. And maybe that's enough to keep them warm at night. Maybe just being, maybe the illusion of being seen as like an auteur director or as somebody who's actually talented. And some of them, and you know, I'm not saying that they're not talented. I'm saying, but all of the adulation that they will receive is enough for them. Therefore, you know, maybe the business person inside them says, maybe it's not true in this respect, but it will lead to the opportunity, the clout I will gain by doing this movie. However little input I may have may lead to me being able to have more input on the next one because my status will have been raised in Hollywood, which makes sense, even if it is kind of a bit lame.
Yeah.
All right. We got a couple of super chats, and then we got one more thing at the end there.
Clef the Misfit said, y'all should really read Michael Malice's new book, The White Pill, which details the rise and fall of the Soviet Union. It's wild how easy people would snitch to the worst forces in humanity merely for a sense of superiority.
I mean, we're seeing that more and more every day now.
It's called The White Pill? It sounds more like The Black Pill.
Or the red pill.
And by the way, we are
Right.
Like Soviet red.
We are about $20 away from another crisis party. I have to give like verbal updates now.
Yeah,
it's a damn telethon. It's not a telethon.
John S said Mary is Blueface for this episode. What?
Isn't that a? Oh no, it's Blue Pants. There's a wrestler named Blue Pants. It's a girl.
I don't get the
Blueface.
reference.
Does it have to do with the
Maybe, I don't know.
Blueface?
Ashes are not blue.
Shane H. Wilder said Shakespeare would be hated today for more than likely being Catholic. Brett, Chris, and Carter keep on rocking. Mary, may this Lenten season bring you even closer to the Lord. Peace be with all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nice message.
That was very nice.
Yeah.
No, I think Shakespeare would be hated today because he's a black woman.
Wouldn't he love
just
then?
like Anne Boleyn is a black woman.
Is the next one from 1,000 Foot Deep End, or am I wrong?
Say it again.
Was the next one from 1,000 Foot Deep End?
Steve Ryman.
Gets me every time.
Okay,
We did it! Even with our broken crisis meter today, ladies and gentlemen.
Wait, so was
That one
it
kinda got
broken?
me.
No, me too.
It's
Is there any communication between you two on that crisis party? Okay.
denied. It's from Steve Ryman.
yeah, I can't read that one.
It says, I grew up in West
it's
Virginia and bought into the stereotype that geography dictates intelligence until I traveled and realized there is no monopoly on ignorance. Oh, I've some of the most closed-minded people, or at least the ones set the most in their ways, are friends, are like people that I've known from the city, not necessarily friends, but people that I know that have friends and see, like my friends aren't like that.
Because you're used to small, compact spaces, and
Yeah.
your mind essentially becomes smaller because of it.
Like the dreaded incident where like you're with your friends and like they have other friends over like that you don't know, and you're like, oh my god, I can't.
Then they
stand
leave
these,
the
like,
room.
I can't stand these people. Corn pop,
He said target confirmed.
and then
I think that might be like when he has like the US. I think those are like actually American flags or something.
no USA. It just says US.
Yeah, I don't know. Paper 2X. Oh, I can't
Says,
scroll to that one either. That's-
Says Brett, that was a general recommendation for all. By the way, Freemasonry has a central role in the series. Mary, it is a 33 degrees, no such thing, or it's like 0.33 degrees, no such thing.
I don't know
Am I reading
anything
that
about that.
I'm not a Mason, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I would know. Do you see 1,000 foot deep ends?
Yeah, okay. 1,000 foot deep end said, talk about reducing an individual's way of life. An actual Wall Street Journal headline, to save money, maybe you should skip breakfast.
Yeah, there was a
I mean, it's good advice for losing weight, maybe.
There was a Babylon Bee meme that said like members Joe Biden recommends citizens of East Palestine, Ohio, skip water for Lent. And then what was it? And then there was a Pox article that was satirizing.
Drink more Surge to stay hydrated.
Man, let's
That's
go.
The answer.
There was a Pox article satirizing the one she's talking about that says the Wall Street Journal one that said to save money, maybe skip breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then there's one more under that from Blue Heart who says, y'all better dance. Because we have the crisis part.
Thank you, Blue Heart.
Thank you, Blue.
Yeah.
Thank you, Blue Heart.
Thank you.
All right, guys. We got this is bonkers on the way. Do you guys remember Austin Powers?
Of course.
Austin
Yeah.
Powers? Okay, so a would-be bomber threatens to blow up the Hollywood sign, but calls the wrong cops with his demands.
Oh my god.
I hate it when that happens.
I'm so sad that this didn't actually happen, because it would be like the perfect victimless crime.
Like, nobody lives there. Like, I guess there would be
Exactly.
like property
I mean,
damage.
it would be hilarious if he got away with this. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what either needs to happen is someone blowing up the Hollywood sign, or just every city should just have a sign like that so that Hollywood isn't special anymore.
And the problem was, guys, he called Hollywood, Florida. I hate it when that happens. It's funny. There's a pro wrestler named Dolph Ziggler who hails from Hollywood, Florida, and I'm always like, really? Hollywood, Florida? Is there like a Manhattan, Florida?
Palestine, Ohio.
Palestine,
Very
Ohio?
confusing.
I guess there's Manhattan Beach. Manhattan Beach is in California, right?
Oh, that's true.
Yes.
He was in exchange asking for $10,000
To not blow it up?
to not blow
To
it
stop him from blowing, like a whole 10 grand, huh?
The police are going to
That's
give
it?
that to him?
Like
not a lot.
The police are like, that's a rounding error on our
call the
budget.
bank,
Like,
dude.
I guess the police wouldn't
It's about
say
how
that,
much
but-
it would take to repair it.
That's like what his bail would be
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
on
well,
that charge.
Actually, I have no like
10%.
sense of how tall the Hollywood sign
I think it's
actually is.
pretty tall.
It's so like when you were saying like nobody lives there, like no, they do. Like at the
Really?
bottom, you literally just go up the hill and the Hollywood sign's right there. Yeah.
so
There are people that live right next to it.
I mean, not like next.
that like-
like
Inside the letters, there are
Because I
birds.
I
Probably.
watched this
like
guy.
Richie Rich.
yeah.
I watched this guy make a vlog about like walking up to the Hollywood sign, and apparently you're not allowed to get near it.
You're not allowed to do a lot of stuff, but you know.
Did someone
And
spray
there
paint?
were like people there watching it, like they have security, I suppose,
Yeah.
watching it all the time.
Yeah.
So I don't think anyone would get hurt, right?
Well,
If the Hollywood sign were blown up.
I mean, what kind of bomb is he?
I guess it's can't be a nuke, but
Right.
Mary's like
I think
trying
it
to
would be
justify
harmless. I think it would be harmless.
there's people that live at the
And
bottom
funny.
of the.
So you don't want the stuff
yeah, if
falling
you don't
down.
want this
Pretty
stuff,
much,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, more likely
Spray
just
paint
like
it. Like
vandalize it
draw a
somehow.
dick on the Hollywood sign. That's what you do.
vandalize
I'm okay with
it.
that.
Spray
Yeah.
paint a dick on the Hollywood sign.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Don't do that.
Well,
Do
they-
it.
I'm sure they clean it all the time too.
They don't clean anything in Hollywood. Come on.
No, they'll keep the streets covered in used needles and human feces, but the Hollywood sign needs to stay clean and
For the movies.
presentable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's like you go down Hollywood Boulevard and there's all the tents everywhere, but you go up into the hills and everything's nice and.
I hated this part of Quantumania where the daughter, I've already forgotten all of their names, but like the daughter says that she was like arrested and thrown in jail for protesting the like San Francisco's police from clearing a tent city. Like literally his daughter says that she got arrested for the first time, or no, the second time, protesting a tent city in San Francisco, like a tent city of homeless people in San Francisco getting cleared in the middle of the night or something.
They were protesting clearing it out.
Yeah.
I love the world we live in these days, dude.
Literally, that was in the beginning of Ant-Man Quantumania. Like, that was their, like, see, she's an activist, so you should like her.
Like, I don't know if they understand it.
She's a
like,
rebel.
Maybe
She
I'm
wants
just,
San Francisco to be
to be a hellhole.
wreck,
Like-
unlivable shithole. It's great.
Literally.
And this is related to superheroes somehow.
Like, am I the only one who, like, there's no faster way for me to not like someone than to find out that they're an activist of any sort?
Yeah.
Not only that, but she's a child activist.
It's even worse.
It's even worse.
You're just a dork. Like, you just have no friends.
Yeah.
Like, nobody likes you.
Sorry
Like,
to
you're
bounce
only
off of
around
you.
people like that like you because you can hold a sign, not because they actually want to spend time with you.
Yeah.
Go
but now
do something with your life.
all of the annoying activists are watching the Marvel movie being like, she's just like me.
In their N95 masks.
In their N95.
As they go, arf, I can't wait for the next one.
Can't wait for the next post-credit scene, man. It's gonna be amazing.
Like you're telling me that that Hank Pym or Tony Stark haven't figured out the homeless crisis yet? Like, he couldn't give them like shrinking tents that allow them to not look like a problem. Maybe that's what they should have done. They should have given them. They should have given them tents that shrink so that they can not look like such a pox on the community.
it'll take up less space.
I mean, that's not any better than being mad at them for clearing them out. They're still homeless. Like, just
and that also implies in the movie that the San Francisco law enforcement actually does their job or like cares about keeping the city safe and clean. They obviously in the real world do not.
it would be even funnier if she's like somebody's going there to, like, they've got the poop patrol guy going around picking up all the poop in San Francisco, and the guy picking up the needles, and she's like, how dare you pick up the needles, and like, what are we supposed to be doing here? Like, or maybe she sends up, or she could have been part of.
She can shrink herself down with the suit.
Yes.
And get inside a homeless person's needle, and then get like enter
Into the vein.
their veins.
She gives them Narcan.
Yeah,
she
to prevent an overdose. This is really sick. I'm sorry. This is getting
Clones
so
herself
twisted.
a bunch.
Look, I'm down.
But they started it, you know.
It's their fault. Like that. It's funnier. In fact, it'd have been edgier if she was part of, like, she was like a city worker who was on poop patrol in San Francisco or cleaning up needles from people walking on. Then she looks downtrodden, like, oh my god, my job is so miserable. Like, she's more likable in that respect, right? She's got a job she hates, but she does it anyway because it's important for the city. Like, I'm down for that. Let's do that. I don't want any more.
I mean, or do we just like not set things in San Francisco?
It's time to ban activism. We need to become activists against activism.
Actively against.
Yes, it's not enough to just not be an activist. You must be actively anti-activist. Every time you see one, you should point and laugh. I don't care if it's a person you agree with. Laugh at them anyways. Like, people who went to the thing on Saturday or the Sunday, the anti-war
Sunday,
protest, like, dorks. Like, you just laugh at them. Laugh at everybody. Activism's lame.
Yeah.
All right. And somebody's like, war is bad. Like, yeah, I know war is bad. Activism's bad too.
You don't have to convince me of it, man.
Yeah, I don't need somebody holding up a sign to tell me that war is bad.
Thank you.
All right, Chris, man, thank you so much.
Of course.
Let everyone know where they can find you.
You can find me at timcast.com. Click the read tab. Follow at Timcast News on Twitter, Instagram, and now we have a Facebook.
Oh.
I don't know if it's Timcast News. I think that's Tim's actual page. It might be Timcast Newsroom. I'm pretty sure that's it. And then follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Man of Bert. Thanks,
All right.
guys.
Thank you. Carter, my friend, let everyone know where they can find you.
Yo, you can find me anywhere at Carter Banks, with the exception of Instagram, which it's Carter Banks 4L. Got some music updates for you. We recorded a music video this weekend, or last weekend, I should say. Everything went better than I could have possibly imagined, and it's super sick, and I can't wait to release this. So follow Timcast Music on YouTube and Trash House Records everywhere as well.
Excellent. Also, we have the new sign behind you. Did you see the new sign behind you?
It's very
I did.
bright,
I saw it when I
actually.
came in. I love
Yep.
it.
Does it look as bright?
It's not bright enough.
It's on
your
the screen.
screen
On the
or-
screen it is, but yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah, we're gonna expand it. Oh, we got one more here, Mary, from Potatoes for Seamus.
Potatoes for Seamus said, "Hail Bertman."
Ooh, I like that
Bertman
one.
or Bertman?
Bertman.
Sounds a little
Bertman.
bit.
Man.
With a bunch of potato emojis.
All right.
Okay, I
Mary,
think
where
we're
can they
all
find you?
caught up. You can find pictures of me on Instagram at Mary Archived, or send me hate on Twitter. That's also Mary Archived. Still working on my presence on like Weibo, WeChat,
Really?
MySpace, Friends.
Zanga?
Wait, what?
Zanga?
Friendster.
Friendster.
Friendster is the way to go.
LiveJournal, etc. Parlor, Truth Social. I'm gonna be everywhere, guys. I'll be unescapable.
All right, guys, thank you for dealing with all of the tech issues that we had here today. It was a ton of fun to try and do this manually. Let's never do it again, huh?
Please.
But before
Hopefully,
you go,
no problems
yeah.
tomorrow, right?
Exactly. Before you go, could you hit the like button? Could you leave a comment on this video? Leave us hate mail, hate comments, or comments to the positive. If you enjoy the things that you've seen here, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already, and hit the notification bell. I never say the hit the
You
notification
gotta say
bell.
ring the bell.
Ring the bell so you always get notified when we go live every day at 3 p.m. Or just set like an alarm on your phone. You could do that. We got one more there, Mary. One more came through.
1,000 Foot Deep End said, "Almost forgot Carter. Love the new PCC outro.
Oh,
Will it be
thanks.
going up on any streaming platforms like where Tales from the Inverted World?"
You know what? That's a great question, and I've got an answer that I'm working on getting right now.
perfect.
Okay.
Keenan Smith in the chat says holding a picket sign that says no, say no to protesting. I'm so down. I'm
We're gonna
so down.
protest.
I am so down.
Anti-protest baby.
Guys, if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Brett Dasovic. There's one more from Potatoes for Seamus. 99 cents without a message. Thank you, my friend.
Thanks.
For the show, we are here Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. If you would like to listen to this podcast, we are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, Pandora, and Spotify. And if you'd like to follow the show on social media, we are on Twitter at popculture_show, Facebook and TikTok at popculturecrisis, and on Instagram at popculturecrisisPod. We'll be back with another episode, hopefully without tech issues, tomorrow. We'll see you then, guys.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.